Chapter 129. Lin Yuan paused and slowly turned around to look behind him. Around 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts were neatly lined up and walking toward him. Lin Yuan truly didn't think that these intelligence realm demonic beasts would suddenly call out to him. This was because when the situation was good, these demonic beasts didn't attack, so Lin Yuan directly ignored them. Right now, he seemed to be able to control the situation, but the attitude of these intelligence realm demonic beasts was very important. Once they made a move because of the demon fire ape, the spirit awakening realm demonic beasts would also attack and might even eat the demon fire ape. If it was just an ordinary creature he created, then it would be fine. Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't risk offending so many demonic beasts at the same time. At most, he would lose a bit of face, and he would naturally find a way to make up for it later. After all, the ecosystem of the Scarlet Flame Swamp was already in chaos. If these demonic beasts wanted to survive, they would have to move to the territories of other beast kings. Right now, they only had two choices. One was to enter a demonic beast forest that was inferior to the Scarlet Flame Swamp, and the other was to ask Lin Yuan to allow them to enter the Stoneclaw Forest. At that time, Lin Yuan would have plenty of ways to deal with them. However, the demon fire ape's ability to control the purgatory flames was extremely important to Lin Yuan's plan. Not only could he manage this swamp that had been destroyed by the purgatory flames, according to this creature's own consciousness, Lin Yuan knew that it could sense the state of the purgatory flames at any time. When, where, and what kind of purgatory demonic beasts would be born, as long as it was nearby, it would be able to sense it. This ability was undoubtedly a timely help to Lin Yuan. Whether it was the purgatory core or the bonus attribute points, they were both things that Lin Yuan greatly desired right now. More importantly, he didn't have any more materials to create a demonic beast with the purgatory flames. If he wanted to create a demonic beast that could replace him and rule over the Scarlet Flame Swamp, Lin Yuan felt that it would be safer to create a demonic beast with the purgatory attribute. Otherwise, it would be hard to say when his own backyard would catch fire. However, although these intelligence realm demonic beasts called out to Lin Yuan, they didn't look at the demon fire ape. Instead, they stared at Lin Yuan with burning eyes, but there was no hostility. This detail made Lin Yuan instinctively feel that something was wrong. Logically speaking, treasures that spirit awakening realm demonic beasts would fight for were just trash for intelligence realm demonic beasts. It was just like how Lin Yuan had almost been killed by the system's missions. After going through untold hardships to obtain the cold stone grass, he was prepared to save some attribute points to become a rank 10 demonic beast. However, by chance, Lin Yuan still managed to use the attribute points to become a rank 10 demonic beast. He didn't even need to use the cold stone grass, so it would be a waste to use it now. Thus, the cold stone grass was still collecting dust in Lin Yuan's nest. He hadn't decided on who to give it to yet. The demon fire ape's bloodline was attractive to spirit awakening realm demonic beasts, but it might not be so for intelligence realm demonic beasts. For them to reach this realm, they already had the bloodline in their bodies. If they recklessly devoured the bloodline, it might cause a conflict between their bloodlines. If things went wrong, they might explode and die. At the very least, they would have to pay a heavy price to resolve the conflict between their bloodlines. Was he going to take such an unnecessary risk? If it was a group of spirit awakening realm demonic beasts, Lin Yuan could decisively kill them and intimidate those fellows that didn't dare to risk their lives for their future. But a dozen intelligence realm demonic beasts? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and felt that it was safer to give up on the demon fire ape. Is something the matter? Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows and asked with a strong aura. Although it was a pity to give up on the demon fire ape. But it was better than losing his life here. However, demonic beasts were greedy by nature. If Lin Yuan directly expressed that he was willing to give up on the demon fire ape, these demonic beasts might not let Lin Yuan go. Instead, they would focus on getting more benefits from him. A strong attitude was necessary. We want to join Sir Black Snake and pledge our loyalty to Sir Black Snake. The 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts looked at each other. In the end, it was the old-looking Lin Xiang that explained why they stopped Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan was startled. Originally, he had thought that these intelligence realm demonic beasts were just waiting to die. He didn't expect that when these spirit awakening realm demonic beasts attacked, these intelligence realm demonic beasts had already seen through his identity. Lin Yuan even thought that these fellows had gathered to watch the show so that they could make a move when he couldn't hold on anymore. Then, they would do him a favor so that he wouldn't be able to reject them. Accept you? On what basis? On the basis that you have no home to return to? Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and asked in a mocking tone. Since these intelligence realm demonic beasts knew his identity, then he could act more arrogant. In any case, he wasn't afraid of these demonic beasts teaming up to threaten him. If he died, then no matter who the new beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest was, they would immediately take revenge for him. Otherwise, wouldn't the demonic beasts from other regions think that they could casually provoke the beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest? Weakness was a capital offense in the cruel forest. Not to mention, the new beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest was most likely one of his loyal subordinates. Since these intelligence realm demonic beasts weren't stupid, then they definitely wouldn't fall out with him. So if he didn't take advantage of them now, what was he waiting for? The 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts didn't think that Lin Yuan would react like this. The words they had prepared froze in their mouths and they looked at each other. They clearly didn't know what Lin Yuan was thinking. However, just like how Lin Yuan thought, they didn't dare to fall out with him at this time. You are all intelligence realm demonic beasts. Even in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range, you are all qualified to compete for the position of Beast King. You should know what the responsibility of a Beast King is. You opened your mouths and wanted me to take you back to the Stoneclaw Forest to settle down. Have you ever thought that because of you, the Stoneclaw Forest's ecological chain might be broken? Everyone, it's not that this king doesn't want to give you face, but this king has no other choice. Once the ecological chain is messed up, even the Stoneclaw Forest might be destroyed. This king really can't bear this responsibility. Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes looked around and his tone was slightly cold. However, they all saw that Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes were slightly flickering. It was obvious that he wasn't speaking the truth. Or rather, this was Lin Yuan's direct message to them. They didn't manage to get a favor, so they opened their mouths and wanted to join the Stoneclaw Forest? Dream on. Chapter 130. However, Lin Yuan's words were on point, and they didn't have any room to refute him. This was because with their intelligence realm cultivation, they did have hope of competing for the position of Beast King. When Lin Yuan was still a rank 10 monster, he had always thought that Mendu and the others were at the peak of the intelligence realm. Now, Lin Yuan knew that Mendu was at most at the second level of the intelligence realm. Ping Qiu and Chen Yan were at the peak of the first level of the intelligence realm. Among the 3 Beast Kings, only Blizzard had touched the threshold of the second level of the intelligence realm. This was why it was so confident that it would be the successor of the 3-eyed ape. The 13 demonic beasts in front of him were all at the first level of the wisdom state. In terms of talent, they could not be compared with Lin Yuan, who had the system. Therefore, most of them had reached their limit at this level. It was obviously impossible for them to sit firmly in the position of the Beast King. This was also the reason why they were below the Red Flame Crocodile King. However, not competing didn't mean they didn't understand. It was true that the Beast Kings had to maintain the balance of the ecological chain in their own territory. However, they would often leave some leeway for them to take in powerful monsters from other territories at any time. Only the Beast Kings without ambition would maintain an absolute balance in their own territory. In exchange for never expanding their territory, they would let the Monster King Court in the depths of the Hengduan Mountains protect their existence. However, Lin Yuan's Stoneclaw Forest was clearly not like this. In fact, in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range, Lin Yuan was an absolute anomaly. He hadn't even stabilized his position as Beast King. He had only roughly sorted out the ecological chain in his territory before directly clashing with the Red Flame Crocodile King. In this situation, let alone the Spirit Awakening realm monsters in the Red Flame Swamp not knowing that he was the Stoneclaw Forest's Beast King, there might not even be many Spirit Awakening realm monsters in his Stoneclaw Forest that recognized him. In addition, after the 2 bloody battles in the Stoneclaw Forest, the number of monsters in his territory had decreased. As long as Lin Yuan was willing, it wouldn't be a problem for him to accept all of the surviving monsters in the Red Flame Swamp. He could even make the overall strength of his territory stronger than before. However, Lin Yuan had decisively rejected them. He was obviously asking for benefits. Their mentality of wanting to leave the Scarlet Flame Swamp and seek a better place to survive had been blocked. If they didn't pay a huge price today, Lin Yuan would definitely insist that the Stoneclaw Forest couldn't accept them. They couldn't do anything about it and could only watch as Lin Yuan swaggered away. However, this was also the worrisome part. If Lin Yuan had his own race or descendants, they could simply give some phase to get away with it. As long as there were enough of them, it wouldn't be a problem. After all, even if Lin Yuan didn't need them, he could still give them to his own race. This way, everyone would be able to get along with it. However, the problem was that Lin Yuan was the only snake in his entire race. Therefore, no matter how many low-grade phase they gave Lin Yuan wouldn't take a second look at them. He would even feel that they were insulting him. If he wanted to give a wisdom perception demonic beast a spiritual item, it would be the same as asking for their lives. Wouldn't it be better to have a treasure of that level for his own cultivation? They were originally refugees, so they couldn't possibly run away with their own nest, right? Therefore, it wasn't that they didn't have any phase, but they were all of very good quality. Any one of them could cause a bloodbath. However, they could only obtain the entrance ticket to the Stoneclaw Forest after giving Lin Yuan the phase that they normally couldn't bear to use. Lord Black Snake, we indeed didn't consider this matter properly. However, we hope that Lord Black Snake can understand. We will naturally compensate for the losses that Lord Black Snake's territory might suffer. This is a stalk of dragon saliva grass that I obtained by chance. I think it should be able to compensate for some of Lord Black Snake's losses, right? The aged Lin Xiang chuckled as he took out a stalk of emerald green grass from under the rock that he had hidden something and placed it in front of Lin Yuan. In his previous life, Lin Yuan had also heard of the dragon saliva grass. However, the dragon saliva grass in his previous life was completely different from the one in this world. The dragon saliva grass in this world would only grow in places with dragon aura. If a demonic beast with dragon bloodline consumed the dragon saliva grass, there would be an extremely high probability of purifying its bloodline. In other words, the probability of evolving from a wild beast to a demonic beast would be greatly increased. Take note that this dragon aura wasn't something extremely mysterious. It was just a concise description. Dragon aura was the aura of a dragon. With Lin Xiang's cultivation and the fact that he didn't have a clan behind him that the Seven Dynasties feared, it was impossible for him to return safely after leaving the Hengduan mountain range. Therefore, the fact that Lin Xiang could take out the dragon saliva grass meant that there were Jiao dragons in the Hengduan mountain range. Other than him, who had a system, there were flood dragons that didn't accept the recruitment of the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas and stayed in the Hengduan mountain range. Lin Yuan was really shocked. After all, the existence from the Dragon Palace that he had seen previously wasn't a flood dragon. At most, it had dragon blood in its body and lived with some powerful dragon bloodline demonic beasts all year round. Therefore, Lin Yuan had misjudged it. Strictly speaking, it might not even have the pureness of its bloodline when Lin Yuan transformed into a flood dragon. In the Hengduan mountain range, in the Scarlet Flame Swamp, there was actually a dragon bloodline demonic beast that was more powerful than the Dragon Palace's messenger? Then where was it now? Was it dead or had it gone deeper into the Hengduan mountain range? Or perhaps, it didn't leave and was just silently watching the outside world from somewhere? No. Lin Yuan suddenly put away the doubts in his heart and his gaze paused on Lin Xiang for a moment. In order to understand this world, he had read a lot of information left by the three-eyed ape. Among them, there were records about the dragon grass. This kind of thing was a spiritual object that was born from the aura of a dragon bloodline demonic beast. It could help the descendant of a dragon bloodline demonic beast to increase the success rate of evolving into a flood dragon. However, it had no benefit to the dragon bloodline demonic beast that could produce the dragon grass. Moreover, it would consume energy. In addition, to produce the dragon grass, one had to be at least in the desolate demon realm. Therefore, it was impossible for a dragon bloodline demonic beast without descendants to produce the dragon grass. In addition, this damn thing would directly wither after 3 days without dragon chi. Looking at the stalk in Lin Xiang's hand, it was definitely picked less than a day ago. Lin Xiang gave this thing to him. Not only was it impossible to get it by chance, it was very likely that a dragon bloodline demonic beast released its goodwill to him. Of course, according to the law of the jungle, it couldn't be ruled out that this dragon bloodline demonic beast wanted to fatten him up before devouring his dragon bloodline. Should he take it or not? Lin Yuan was at a loss for a moment. Chapter 131. After all, he wasn't the descendant of a dragon bloodline demonic beast. The probability of the other party deliberately growing a stalk of dragon saliva grass for his growth wasn't high. Thus, Lin Yuan was more inclined to the latter analysis. However, His current situation wasn't good. Regardless of whether the Scarlet Blaze Crocodile King's desolate demon realm father really existed, the Green Marsh tribe had already targeted him. Now that the Green Swamp clan had their eyes on him, there was no telling when they would make a move against him. If he used the attention of a dragon bloodline demonic beast well, he might be able to intimidate the Green Marsh tribe. After all, an existence that could grow dragon saliva grass was at least in the desolate demon realm. Perhaps he could even make them fight each other? Should Lin Xiang accept this gift or not? This question was like a sharp blade hanging over Lin Yuan's head. Actually, the dragon saliva grass was really useless to him. Purify his bloodline? What a joke! Could the bloodline given by the system be an incomplete mixed bloodline? Furthermore, Lin Yuan felt that with the system's nature, when he could transform into a flood dragon was actually still up to it. There would definitely be a series of missions to transform into a flood dragon. If he failed, Lin Yuan might lose the qualifications to transform into a flood dragon. The system might even take the initiative to remove the bindings and directly deprive him of the opportunity to evolve. To him, this stalk of dragon saliva grass might not even be as beneficial as killing Lin Xiang. Lin Yuan's mind was filled with thoughts as he constantly analyzed the pros and cons of the current situation. However, Lin Yuan's hesitation was a different matter in the eyes of the other Wisdom Realm demonic beasts. The dragon saliva grass that could purify the dragon bloodline might be trash to other demonic beasts, but to a demonic beast like Lin Yuan who had the dragon bloodline, it was undoubtedly a treasure. If their positions were switched, they definitely wouldn't reject the temptation of the dragon saliva grass. Lin Xiang actually used a spiritual item that was useless to him in exchange for the opportunity to enter the Stone Claw Forest. While the other demonic beasts were envious, they were also cursing Lin Xiang in their hearts. This seemingly simple and honest fellow was actually so ruthless. When giving a gift, it definitely depended on what the first person gave. If Lin Xiang gave Lin Yuan a stalk of grass to enter the Stone Claw Forest, then wouldn't it make them seem like they were retarded if they gave him a spiritual item? But then again, that was not the case. Lin Xiang took out a stalk of dragon saliva grass. If Lin Yuan chose to accept it, they would be the ones to suffer in the end. After all, although the dragon saliva grass was useless to demonic beasts other than dragon bloodline demonic beasts, as something that could only be produced by dragon bloodline demonic beasts in the desolate demon realm, its grade would naturally not be low. Since Lin Xiang had shown his sincerity, they had to show their sincerity as well. Therefore, the things they gave out couldn't be worse than the dragon saliva grass. Even if it was worse, it couldn't be much worse. What if he really couldn't take out a treasure of this level? Then, they could only rely on numbers to make up for it. Lord Black Snake, this is my... Lord Black Snake, this is... Soon, the 13 Intelligence Realm demonic beasts all showed their sincerity to Lin Yuan. Even some of the smarter Spirit Awakening Realm demonic beasts took out their most precious spiritual items to give to Lin Yuan. After all, this was the Beast King of the Stone Claw Forest. If they could obtain Lin Yuan's approval, they would become a part of the Stone Claw Forest in the future. Even the 4 great clans would have to give Lin Yuan some face. It wouldn't be good for them to kill their neighbors who had moved over from the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Of course, even if Lin Yuan wasn't willing, they could still use the illegal method to enter the Stone Claw Forest. However, if they did that, they would become the prey of the entire Stone Claw Forest. They would even have to sleep with one eye open. Otherwise, they might die without knowing why. You guys are really making things difficult for me. However, since you sincerely want to join our Stone Claw Forest, this king can't refuse you. How about this? This king will bring you back and arrange a place for you to stay. However, you will have to secretly follow the rules of the Stone Claw Forest. Do you understand? Lin Yuan's multicolored eyes narrowed slightly. He appeared in front of the group of demonic beasts with a chuckle. How did he look like he was in a difficult position at all? Although they felt that this black snake was a little shameless, when they thought about joining the Stone Claw Forest and leaving the Scarlet Flame Swamp where the Inferno demon beasts could rush out at any time, they still felt relieved. However, Lin Yuan clearly didn't plan on letting this matter end like this. With a thought, he wriggled his snake body in front of Lin Xiang. He deliberately lowered his voice and said, "When you go back, help me thank that lord. Tell him that I have received his kind intentions." Hearing Lin Yuan's words, Lin Xiang's breathing slightly stagnated. He was stunned for a long time before he reacted. He smiled at Lin Yuan and said, This subordinate doesn't understand what Lord Black Snake is talking about. Not to mention Lin Yuan, even the wisdom state demonic beasts next to him could see that there was something wrong with Lin Xiang. However, Lin Yuan wanted to determine whether there was at least a desolate demon realm dragon blood demonic beast behind Lin Xiang. They all believed that Lin Xiang was actually a prop that Lin Yuan had specially found. Hee, then it's fine. Lin Yuan also smiled. He acted as if nothing had happened and turned to leave. 3 birds with 1 stone. The Green Marsh clan most likely wanted to deal with him. Therefore, the Bloodclaw clan definitely wasn't the only one sent here. His words and actions were probably being monitored. Lin Yuan thanked Lin Xiang for the matter of the dragon saliva grass. Firstly, he wanted to confirm if there really was a dragon bloodline demon beast behind Lin Xiang. Secondly, he wanted to release a signal to the Green Marsh clan that he had the support of the Dragon clan. He wanted them to carefully consider whether they could withstand the wrath of the Dragon clan before making a move. As for the third point, looking at the unfriendly gazes of the 12 Wisdom Realm demonic beasts, Lin Yuan knew that as long as he neglected Lin Xiang for a period of time, this guy would die without knowing why in the Stoneclaw Forest. Regardless of whether that dragon bloodline demon beast had good intentions or bad intentions, Lin Yuan didn't wish for a nail like Lin Yuan to exist in his territory. Therefore, it was beneficial for Lin Yuan to remove it as soon as possible. After a dragon bloodline demon beast that was at least in the desolate demon realm had achieved its goal, would it still care about the life and death of an wisdom realm demonic beast? Similarly, Lin Yuan felt that even if that mysterious dragon bloodline demon beast wanted to deal with him, it wouldn't cooperate with the Green Marsh clan. As a noble dragon bloodline demon beast, it would definitely not cooperate with the swamp demonic beasts that were incomparably filthy in its eyes. It would also not allow the Green Marsh clan to touch its prey. As for Lin Yuan himself, he only needed to probe the other party's goal and then use the system's energy card to keep the other party in suspense. Not only would he obtain a powerful protective umbrella, he might even be able to kill the other party and obtain a considerable amount of attribute points and spirit items. After all, didn't the legendary Dragon clan like to hoard wealth? Chapter 132. Stoneclaw Forest. Broken Stone Clan. Bloodclaw was lying on a smooth white boulder. His thick tail was swinging slowly behind him, and his amber eyes were shining faintly. After a full 10 minutes of silence, Bloodclaw woke up from his thinking state. His cold gaze fell on his subordinate who came to report. He raised his eyelids slightly. Do you know why the great clan leader wants me to come here personally? Not only because it killed the great clan leader's son, but also because the Purgatory Crow was most likely created by this black snake. If the great clan leader has such power, he will advance further in the imperial court, and our status will rise as well. Understand? The subordinate was silent for a moment with his head still lowered. Then he slowly said, Commander, I saw with my own eyes that Lin Xiang gave a fresh stalk of dragon grass to the black snake. Therefore, I feel that this matter is beyond our ability. I suggest that we report the situation here to the great clan leader, and ask him to send the third clan leader over. The one who spoke was a strange lizard with transparent scales all over its body. This was one of the swamp lizard's atavistic mutations. As long as it was willing, the glass scales on its body could change color according to the terrain and light. If it did not want to show itself, nothing could see it. Bloodclaw's face was gloomy as he waved his claws. He did not respond to his subordinate's words. Originally, Lin Yuan was just a black snake with an extraordinary performance and seemingly no background. But now, a dragon bloodline demon beast suddenly appeared to support him. Did he really think they were fools? Bloodclaw felt that this dragon bloodline demon beast was something that Lin Yuan made up. If Lin Yuan really had a clan of dragon bloodline demon beasts behind him, and an expert from the desolate demon realm, why didn't the imperial court in the Hengduan Mountains receive any news? Dragon bloodline demon beasts usually went to the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas. The environment and resources there were more suitable for dragon bloodline demon beasts to cultivate. How could a powerful dragon bloodline demon beast stay in the Hengduan Mountains and not leave? However, his subordinate had no reason to help the black snake lie to him. Lin Xiang might have really given the black snake a stalk of dragon saliva that he just picked. This indirectly confirmed the existence of dragon bloodline demon beasts. Lin Xiang knew what the dragon bloodline demon beast was, but the black snake might not know. Perhaps, the dragon bloodline demon beast wanted to absorb the black snake into its own clan? Bloodclaw's mind raced, but the more he thought about it, the stranger it felt. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. What about the other thing I asked you to investigate? Bloodclaw stopped his increasingly chaotic thoughts and raised his head to look at his subordinate. The glass lizard paused and looked a little embarrassed. This black snake came from the 3601st area of the monster forest, but I don't know the specific situation. It never left anyone alive, whether it was fighting for territory or hunting. The only demonic beast that understands it better is probably the mountain-shaking ape Batu. However, I don't want to alert him, so I didn't try to talk to him. Isn't it just a mountain-shaking ape? After the interrogation, just find a more private place to deal with it. Are you afraid? Bloodclaw's voice came to an abrupt stop, and the entire stone house fell silent. Being indecisive in such a big matter would mean losing the initiative, and losing the initiative would make it easy for others to plot against them. Therefore, when they did this kind of thing in the past, they had always been unscrupulous. As long as they could achieve their goal, they would do anything. However, this time, they clearly had a clear goal, but they didn't dare to act rashly. This feeling was very sullen. If it was just a normal mountain-shaking ape, they could just kill it after getting the information, but that mountain-shaking ape was called Batu. This was a completely different matter. As one of the leaders of the Green Swamp clan, Bloodclaw had some understanding of the division of power in the imperial court. There was an incomparably terrifying existence behind Batu, but it was still in hibernation and hadn't directly stood out. However, if he touched Batu, it would be the same as pushing him and his clan to the opposite side of the Green Swamp clan. At that time, even if the other party was willing to let him go, the Great Patriarch wouldn't leave him with a complete corpse. This matter needs to be discussed at length. You guys find a place to stay and wait for my news. Bloodclaw felt a headache coming on. Leader, this subordinate knows that learning the secret of the Black Snake is not only revenge for the Great Patriarch, but it will also allow the Great Patriarch to advance further in the Monster Imperial Court. If this matter is completed in your hands, you can even leave the Green Swamp clan and establish your own clan, and obtain an independent territory. However, I hope that before you do this, you can consider the problem of your own safety. At the same time, you can also think about us old brothers. The glass lizard sighed and said, "We don't have enough strength, so we have to admit it. If we force ourselves to do it, we might not be able to complete the task, and we might even lose our lives. When that time comes, the Great Patriarch..." Bang! Bloodclaw punched the polished white stone under him into slag. His eyes were bloodshot as he fiercely stared at the glass lizard and asked, "Are you telling me what to do? I told you to go down and wait for my news, didn't you hear?" The glass lizard looked at Bloodclaw meaningfully and sighed helplessly in its heart. It knew that its old superior was now blinded by power. Bloodclaw actually knew what it was worried about, but it deliberately ignored it. Just like you could never wake up a person who was pretending to be asleep, you could never make a person who wanted to climb up pay attention to the risks in front of him. After being partners for so many years, the glass lizard could choose to compromise on other matters. It could also gamble with its life to wait for Bloodclaw's extremely risky plan. However, this time was different. Because behind the Black Snake was at least a desolate monster realm dragon bloodline demon beast. It was afraid that even if the three patriarchs came, they might not be able to withstand the wrath of that dragon bloodline demon beast. If Bloodclaw was allowed to do as he pleased, this group of old brothers would all die in this Stoneclaw forest. If they took another step forward, it would be a situation of 10 deaths. Yes. The glass lizard nodded and stepped out. After the glass lizard left, Bloodclaw slowly raised its head with a contemptuous smile on its face. A cold light flashed in its amber vertical pupils as it said in a cold voice, "There's a dragon bloodline demon beast behind you? I'd like to see if your dragon bloodline demon beast can stay close to you and protect you every day." Yes, Bloodclaw had an immature and bold idea. Directly kidnap the Black Snake. It didn't believe that the dragon bloodline demon beast would be able to react if it suddenly attacked and took the Black Snake away. When the Black Snake reached the territory of the Green Marsh clan, would the dragon bloodline demon beast dare to chase after the snake? Chapter 133. At this time, Bloodclaw completely did not expect that its every move was actually under someone else's control. It also did not expect that the glass lizard's heaven-defying innate ability was completely useless in front of an even more heaven-defying skill. Na Qin, who was standing 2,000 meters away from the stone house, sneered. He took small, quick steps and slowly walked toward his own stone house. From time to time, he would glance at the glass lizard that was slowly moving forward from the corner of his eyes. Although the glass lizard could adjust the color of its scales to achieve the effect of invisibility, the speed of its scales changing color was not that ridiculous. Therefore, its movements had to be slower and slower. As long as its movement rhythm was slightly disrupted, its innate ability to change color would fail. Na Qin stamped his feet and stood in front of the glass lizard like a door god, but in his mind, he was secretly communicating with Lin Yuan, who was not far away. Beast King, are you sure you want to shed all pretense of cordiality now? Lin Yuan carefully pondered over the conversation between the glass lizard and Bloodclaw that Na Qin had just told him. His heterochromatic eyes flashed with a touch of ridicule. Without hesitation, he replied with his mind. No, not shed all pretense of cordiality. I just want to intensify Bloodclaw's hatred for this king and clean up some hidden dangers at the same time. Lin Yuan, whose thoughts were far more complicated than these demonic beasts, knew that this glass lizard did not intend to listen to Bloodclaw. It was estimated that after leaving Bloodclaw's place, it would go back to the Green Swamp Clan to ask for help. If it really managed to get one of the 3 clan leaders of the Green Swamp Clan, that dragon bloodline demonic beast might not be able to protect him. This time, Lin Yuan did not want to fight a battle that he had no confidence in, so he made 2 preparations in advance. Sending men due to investigate the relationship between the Red Flame Crocodile King and the Green Swamp Clan was the first step. While obtaining some information, it would also allow the Green Swamp Clan to focus on dealing with men due once Bloodclaw received the news. It would naturally gradually relax its vigilance. At this time, it would be extremely easy for Lin Yuan to eavesdrop on it. Moreover, in this situation where the Black Snake's attention was not on me, as long as Bloodclaw confirmed that it was safe, it would inadvertently reveal a lot of secrets. Everything else didn't matter. What Lin Yuan wanted to know the most was what kind of existence Batu was. Previously, Lin Yuan thought that Batu was the descendant of the 3-eyed ape and had the qualifications to become a 3-eyed ape. But now, it seemed that it wasn't just that. To put it bluntly, the 3-eyed ape was nothing more than an ant in the eyes of the Green Swamp Clan. The kind that could be casually crushed. As for the descendant of the 3-eyed ape, Batu, he was even less worthy of the Green Swamp Clan's fear. However, Bloodclaw's expression changed at the mention of Batu. Clearly, it couldn't be faked. As for how Na Qin managed to eavesdrop on Bloodclaw's conversation, it was actually very simple. Spider sense. Because Mendu's loyalty to Lin Yuan was maxed out, the Crushed Stone Clan under Mendu's command was automatically classified under Lin Yuan by the system. However, as the true master of the clan, Lin Yuan's prestige in the Crushed Stone Clan wasn't that great. If it wasn't for the great effort he made during the rebellion of the 3 major clans, most of the mountain-shaking apes in the Crushed Stone Clan wouldn't have recognized him. Naturally, there wasn't much loyalty to speak of. Except for Mendu, who had a maximum value, the other apes of the mountains were simply loyal to Lin Yuan. The number of apes of the mountains that reached the passing line could be counted on one hand. Na Qin, who had a loyalty of 70 points to Lin Yuan, was simply a dazzling existence in Lin Yuan's eyes. Therefore, after Mendu left, Lin Yuan directly handed over the spider sense skill to Na Qin and personally guided Na Qin to learn how to use the spider sense skill. Such a terrifying skill was casually taught to others. Lin Yuan's image in Na Qin's mind once again rose by a large margin. Currently, Na Qin's loyalty to Lin Yuan had reached 80 points, barely reaching the threshold of loyal. With Lin Yuan's approval, Na Qin quickly picked up his stone staff and directly swept it towards the open space where the glass lizard stood in front of him. The glass lizard watched Na Qin's stone staff sweep over, but it could only stare with wide eyes. It simply couldn't react at all. After all, it was terrifyingly slow in its talent state. Boom! Na Qin's stone staff accurately hit the glass lizard, and a terrifying force surged out. The glass lizard, whose cultivation level was lower than Na Qin's, didn't even have a complete corpse left. It was directly blasted into a pile of minced meat. The door of Bloodclaw's stone house was suddenly burst open, and it rushed straight to Na Qin. Looking at the pile of minced meat on the ground, its body trembled with anger and it roared, "What the hell are you doing?" Na Qin put away his stone staff and raised his hand at the surrounding mountain-shaking apes, signaling them to stop. Only then did he touch his head and say to Bloodclaw in an incomparably simple and honest manner, "I'm sorry, Senior Bloodclaw. I just saw a sneaky guy approaching your stone house, so I didn't even think about it and killed it. I didn't expect to disturb Senior Bloodclaw. I'm really sorry. Sa. Bloodclaw's eyes narrowed slightly. The glass lizard was one of its old brothers, and its invisibility talent was heaven-defying. Even Bloodclaw would have a hard time discovering the glass lizard, let alone Na-Chin, a demonic beast that had just stepped into level 10. However, Na-Chin couldn't just randomly wave his stone staff around its house, right? There seemed to be something wrong with this mountain-shaking ape. Bloodclaw was silent for a moment, and the anger in its eyes slowly subsided. It nodded lightly and said, "So it's an ignorant little thief. I thought it was a purgatory demonic beast that rushed in. Since that's the case, I'll go back and rest. You guys pay attention to your surroundings and don't disturb me." "Yes, Senior Bloodclaw." Na-Chin chuckled and lowered his head, replying to Bloodclaw. If it hadn't used its spider sense to detect everything, it really would have thought that this glass lizard had nothing to do with Bloodclaw. His old subordinate had been killed, but Bloodclaw was actually able to endure it so quickly. He was quite impressive. After all, if the same thing happened to him and Mendo would probably be looking for someone to avenge him with red eyes. "Leave. Since you've achieved your goal, there's no need to provoke this guy anymore." Lin Yuan's intent once again sounded in Na-Chin's mind with a resolute and decisive order. Na-Chin chuckled and waved away the surrounding mountain-shaking apes. He himself carried the blood-stained stone staff on his shoulder and slowly walked towards his stone house. According to the hint from the spider sense, Bloodclaw's pair of incomparably calm eyes were now filled with hatred. Chapter 134. The next day, early morning. Lin Yuan had just finished a night of cultivation when he sensed two powerful mystical beasts slowly appearing around his lair. He couldn't help but turn around and quickly scurried onto the huge rock that was above the waterfall. Two huge pythons coiled up beside the lake and looked at the vigilant Batu. However, the two Wisdom Realm pythons looked at Batu, who was only at rank 7, with disdain in their eyes. It was as if they didn't put Batu in their eyes at all. Seeing Lin Yuan appear, the red-scaled python on the left swallowed its tongue and said, "Black Snake, we were sent by that lord to assist you. According to that lord's information, the Green Swamp clan seems to regard you as a thorn in their flesh. They will make a move on you sooner or later." The other python looked the same as Lin Yuan, a black python. However, there were white crescent moon marks on its body. Seeing the red python speak, it narrowed its eyes and said, "It is Shen Yang, and I am Wan Yu. We each have our own specialties. Shen Yang can control fire, and I specialize in close combat." Although Wan Yu was introducing itself, Lin Yuan could still see the disdain in its narrowed eyes. Lin Yuan shook his neck and pondered for a moment before suddenly laughing. That dragon bloodline mystical beast hiding in the dark seemed to be an interesting fellow. Lin Yuan had only used the dragon saliva grass it gave him to pull some tiger skin and hinted that he already knew of its existence. It directly played two cards to tell Lin Yuan that it didn't mind Lin Yuan's little actions and even expressed its support for Lin Yuan. Look at how the desolate demon realm father of the Green Swamp clan treated the Red Flame Crocodile King. Other than sending it to its mother's territory, it didn't seem to have given any other support. And this dragon bloodline mystical beast that had nothing to do with Lin Yuan tolerated Lin Yuan in every possible way. It even sent two Wisdom Realm level 5 dragon bloodline pythons to serve Lin Yuan. With such behavior, Lin Yuan felt that there would be mystical beasts that would believe him if he said that he was the illegitimate son of the dragon bloodline mystical beast. However, as the saying goes, there must be a demon behind the abnormal. The other party didn't even blink an eye and began to support Lin Yuan, which instead aroused Lin Yuan's vigilance. After all, the experience of his previous life told him that there was no free lunch in this world. Even if a pie fell from the sky, you had to consider whether it was poisonous or not. "The two of you mean?" Lin Yuan asked with a smile, his pair of heterochromatic eyes curving into a smile. "My lord's meaning is, as long as you are unhappy, Bloodclaw and its subordinate mystical beasts can be directly slaughtered. If it is not convenient for you to do it personally, then let us do it. Later, if the Green Marsh clan sends people to question you, my lord will naturally help you settle it." Shen Yang shook his snake head and said in a casual tone. From its words, it didn't seem to have any intention of placing the Green Marsh clan in its eyes. It seemed that as long as the lord behind it was willing,
It could flatten the entire Green Marsh clan at any time.
Then I am even more curious. I am not related to the lord behind you, so why is it helping me? Lin Yuan narrowed his heterochromatic eyes and asked. Xian Yang was slightly startled, obviously not expecting Lin Yuan to be so straightforward. However, it quickly smiled. After all, this black snake was a mystical beast that had never seen the world, so it was normal for its brain to be a little simple. Beside him, Wan Yu didn't think so much, but replied in a low muffled voice. That is really a coincidence. I also want to know the answer to this question. You are not related to our lord, so why is he helping you? The different reactions of the two pythons were seen by Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan flicked the snake's forked tongue, then slowly said, So the two of you also don't know. It seems that after I finish the matter at hand, I will have to personally pay a visit to that lord and see if I can get some answers. Humph! Wan Yu snorted and said coldly, It is good that you can think this way. Xian Yang still had a thoughtful look on his face. He didn't say anything. Lin Yuan looked at Wan Yu meaningfully, already having a faint guess in his heart. It wasn't a secret that he was a water snake. Although Wan Yu was said to be good at close combat, Lin Yuan had the water monarch innate skill provided by the system. Naturally, he could easily discover that the water element in the world rejected Xian Yang, who was a fire-type mystical beast. However, it was very compatible with Wan Yu, so it was obvious that Wan Yu was also a water snake. Xian Yang seemed to know some secrets, but Wan Yu didn't know anything. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such a sour expression. That mysterious dragon bloodline mystical beast seemed to have the intention of collecting the snake demons with the dragon bloodline. Moreover, it was especially targeting the water snake demons. Regarding its plan, the other types of snake demons more or less knew a little, but the water snake demons didn't. This meant that the dragon bloodline mystical beast definitely had something that it wanted the water snake demons to do. Therefore, it couldn't reveal the secret in advance, fearing that its subordinates would betray it. After receiving this information, Lin Yuan's heart calmed down a little. However, he quickly realized that something wasn't right. In the eyes of the dragon bloodline demonic beast, it wasn't difficult for him to earn a smart evaluation for his previous actions, so it most likely wouldn't treat him as a simple-minded demonic beast. Xian Yang and Wan Yu in front of him might have been deliberately arranged by the dragon bloodline demonic beast, but what was its purpose? Or could it be that it wasn't targeting the water snake demons, but him? Lord Black Snake, Wan Yu and I will be under your command during this period of time. If you need anything, you can tell us to do it at any time. Xian Yang smiled as he interrupted Lin Yuan's train of thought. A dangerous light flickered in his red vertical pupils. Wan Yu turned its head to the side and said in a low muffled voice, I'll say this first. If your orders are too stupid, I won't carry them out. Especially if it's a suicidal order. I'll kill you first. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the temporary loyalty of 2 snake demons. Please enter the relationship model for more details. The system broadcast sounded in Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan casually glanced at the temporary loyalty that had just appeared in the relationship model. He roughly understood it. Similar to mercenaries and allied troops, if they were under Lin Yuan's command, they would have a temporary loyalty. This made it easier for Lin Yuan to filter out those who mixed into his troops. At this moment, there were only these 2 snake demons in front of him in the temporary loyalty column. Level 5 Mystical Young Python of Wisdom Realm. Loyalty. 0 Level 5 Mystical Young Python of Wisdom Realm. Loyalty, 30-inch. Lin Yuan fell silent. That respectful Xian Yang didn't have any loyalty to him, but the prideful Wan Yu actually had 30 points of loyalty. Chapter 135. In the Stoneclaw Forest, there was an undercurrent. The origin of the Bloodclaw wasn't a secret. After all, its scales were engraved with the emblem of the Green Swamp clan. For an existence of the Bloodclaw's level to arrive, it obviously wouldn't be finished with just Lin Yuan and Men Du's words. Not to mention that the Bloodclaw didn't come to help Lin Yuan clean up the hidden dangers of the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Even if that was the case, the various monster clans of the Stoneclaw Forest would still have to pay a visit to the Bloodclaw. Today was the day that the leaders of the 3 clans came together, so the entire Stoneclaw clan was a bit busy. The mountain-shaking apes of the Stoneclaw clan all knew that this new imperial envoy didn't get along with the Beast King. So when they received the Bloodclaw, They had to be careful of the three clans who didn't give up their evil intentions and used the Bloodclaw's matter to attack the Stoneclaw clan for the position of Beast King. There were all kinds of monsters coming and going in the Stoneclaw clan's territory. If it was in normal times, such a grand occasion would definitely be a day of celebration for all the monsters in the Stoneclaw forest. However, the mountain-shaking apes of the Stoneclaw clan still maintained their vigilance. Not only did the number of mountain-shaking apes not decrease, it even doubled. How stupid! Xian Yong, who followed Lin Yuan to the Stoneclaw clan, raised his eyelids and casually said, "It's true that the three clans' vitality has been greatly damaged, but the Stoneclaw clan isn't any better. If they were to fight again at this time, the Stoneclaw clan's side would definitely lose. Instead of being cautious, it's better to use a diversion tactic. This way, the monsters of the three clans won't dare to act rashly." Lin Yuan turned his eyes and looked at Xian Yong meaningfully. He didn't expect a monster to have such a strategic mind. Indeed, the Shattered Stone clan had lost Mendu as a stabilizing force. Moreover, they had suffered a lot of losses in the previous battle with the other three clans. If they were to fight again, the Shattered Stone clan would definitely lose. Previously, the three clans didn't dare to rebel because the Beast King position couldn't be changed too quickly. Moreover, Mendu and Lin Yuan were very powerful. Therefore, they were able to intimidate those small fries. If he were to play the empty fort stratagem, the demonic beasts of the three big clans might think that Lin Yuan had invited some powerful external help, just like when he was dealing with the Red Blaze Crocodile King. Now that things have come to this, there's no point in saying more. A cold glint flashed in Scroll Moon's eyes as she said with a gloomy face, "Let's go in and take a look at the situation first. If that Bloodclaw lizard insists on looking for trouble, we'll just kill it and be done with it." Scroll Moon's words directly and vividly portrayed the word boorish. However, Lin Yuan and Xian Yong didn't have any intention of looking down on Scroll Moon. Because this guy said so, because they had the strength to back it up. One of the two Wisdom Realm level 5 demonic beasts could easily stall the Bloodclaw, and the other one could cooperate with Lin Yuan to easily crush those demonic beasts that wanted to take advantage of the situation. Although the method was simple and crude, Lin Yuan still considered it as a backup plan. Thus, under Lin Yuan's lead, the three pythons slowly twisted their bodies and entered the Shattered Stone clan's territory. When the alert mountain-shaking apes saw Lin Yuan appear, they clearly let out a sigh of relief. After all, Lin Yuan was now considered a war hero in the Shattered Stone clan. In the absence of Meng Do, it wasn't an exaggeration to call Lin Yuan their pillar of support. Now that Lin Yuan had appeared here, it meant that this matter could be resolved peacefully. Even if they had to pay a price, it wouldn't cause the Shattered Stone clan to be completely annihilated. The three giant pythons with the blood of the Dragon clan in their bodies slowly moved forward. Whether it was the mountain-shaking ape or the other demonic beasts, they couldn't help but step back, making way for these three snake demons who didn't care about anyone else. Although they hadn't transformed into real Jiao dragons yet, the pressure in their blood would still make these demonic beasts feel terrified if they didn't suppress it. 2,000 meters away, the Bloodclaw sitting on the main seat had a slight change in expression. Its cold gaze only paused on Lin Yuan for a moment before it cast its gaze on the two Wisdom Realm level 5 demonic beasts. Snake Demon, Wisdom Realm level 5, with dragon bloodline in its body. The appearance of anyone of this level was a big deal in the outer area of the Hengduan mountain range, but now 3 of them appeared in a row. This scene made many demonic beasts want to retreat. The Bloodclaw didn't care what these cannon fodder-like demonic beasts thought. What it cared about was that after Lin Yuan left for a few days, he actually found 2 helpers who were not weaker than Lin Yuan. If it were other helpers, it would be fine, but they were both snake demons with dragon bloodline. This showed that Lin Yuan's previous state of suspicion was obviously not groundless. There was really a tribe with dragon bloodline behind him. In other words, Lin Yuan was originally a member of this tribe, but he hadn't awakened his bloodline before, so he was left to fend for himself in the demonic beasts' forest. Now, Lin Yuan had shown the talent of transforming into a flood dragon. Even the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas was willing to bow down to such a genius like Lin Yuan, let alone a tribe of dragon bloodline demonic beasts entrenched in the Hengduan mountain range. Vaguely, the Bloodclaw had a bit of an ominous premonition. Its pair of amber vertical pupils slightly turned, its gaze drifting and looking at the surrounding environment. It seemed to be thinking about how it could find a suitable way to escape if Lin Yuan suddenly attacked. After all, Na Qin's sudden attack to kill the transparent lizard was too sudden. Mendo definitely didn't have the guts to bet the entire Broken Stone clan with Lin Yuan. Therefore, the person who signaled Na Qin to attack could only be Lin Yuan. This also meant that Lin Yuan had guessed its intention and didn't intend to wait for death. He was trying to keep them all in the Stone Claw forest. Lin Yuan saw the Blood Claw's action and guessed its thoughts. Sneering in his heart, Lin Yuan didn't suddenly attack.
Instead, he went to the area below the main seat and silently stared at the Blood Claw who was sitting on pins and needles.
The monster beasts of the three great clans were nothing to worry about. As long as he had enough time to develop, even if he created some creatures himself, he could easily crush the so-called three great clans. Therefore, the only opponent that Lin Yuan cared about was this large lizard from the Green Swamp clan. Wan Yu and Shen Yang were holding the line. If the Blood Claw could escape even with this, Lin Yuan might as well cut off his own head and send it to the Green Swamp to be eaten by the rock skin. Perhaps that way, he could die a quicker death. Hee. Isn't this our Lord Beast King? Sorry you weren't here before, so I had to sit on the main seat. Since Brother Black Snake has returned, I naturally should give up my seat, right? The Blood Claw stood up and said with a smile. Chapter 136. No need. You're a guest. Besides, you're a big shot sent by the Grassy clan to solve the hidden danger of the Red Flame Swamp. Even if I stand aside and pour tea for you, it's only right. A mere seat is not worth mentioning. No matter how thick-skinned the Blood Claw was, Lin Yuan had no intention of biting the bait. Lin Yuan was very clear about his own capabilities, so he was very sure that once he was provoked by the Blood Claw's words and really walked to the main seat, it meant that he was betting his life on the Blood Claw. He didn't believe that his level 2 golden body invocation could withstand the instantaneous eruption of a demon beast around level 5 of the Wisdom Realm. Seeing that Lin Yuan wasn't fooled, the Blood Claw couldn't find any topic to talk about. It could only helplessly shrug its shoulders, but it didn't sit down again. Instead, it meaningfully looked at the black snake that had forced it into a dead end. Scheming, strength and potential. If it wasn't for the fact that Lin Yuan and the Rock Skin Clan's leader had killed his son, the Rock Skin Clan's leader would be very happy to accept Lin Yuan, this demon talent, instead of stubbornly wanting to strangle Lin Yuan, this good seedling with limitless potential, to death in the cradle. Lord Bloodclaw, you wouldn't take my young master's joke seriously, right? Shen Yang suddenly interrupted in a strange tone, and said proudly, you don't even look at your own status. You're just a lackey. When your master sees my young master, he has to bow respectfully. You actually want my young master to pour tea for you? The moment Shen Yang's voice fell, the entire Rock Skin Clan's territory held their breath. No one would have thought that this red python that looked like Lin Yuan's follower would have such a fierce tone. It was as if it had eaten gunpowder, and its words were directed at the Blood Claw, almost calling it a slave to its face. The Blood Claw was so angry that it laughed. The timidity that it didn't want to fight was instantly thrown to the back of its head, and its gaze towards Shen Yang was filled with killing intent. It didn't know the origin of the dragon bloodline demon beast behind Lin Yuan, but, with the support of a dragon bloodline demon beast that could grow dragon saliva grass, wasn't it amazing? Their Green Swamp clan had 3 demon beasts of the desolate demon realm. Not good. Lin Yuan secretly cried in his heart. He suddenly realized that Shen Yang's strange tone at this moment, naturally, it wasn't to help him, but to deliberately provoke the Blood Claw's anger. Once this big lizard took the bait, it would naturally fall into Shen Yang's hands, and in the end, it wouldn't be able to escape death. And no matter how cleanly Lin Yuan did it, today's matter, today's would definitely be heard by the swamps. Swamp. In other words, before Lin Yuan had the strength to fight against the demon beasts of the desolate demon realm, he had to obediently become Shen Yang's tool. Even if the master behind Shen Yang gave any order, Lin Yuan would have to do his best to complete it. Otherwise, the master behind Shen Yang would withdraw the protection of Lin Yuan, and let the Green Swamp clan directly deal with this treacherous demon beast. But the atmosphere had already been pushed to this point. Even if Lin Yuan wanted to laugh it off, he still had to see if the crimson-eyed Blood Claw was willing. From the other party's eyes, Lin Yuan could easily see that the Blood Claw had already begun to think about how to cut him and Shen Yang into pieces to vent its anger. They were both Wisdom Realm level 5 demon beasts, but was the gap between them really so huge? Xianyang had only provoked the blood claw once in a strange tone, and the blood claw directly exploded like a balloon.
Good, very good.
The blood claw sneered and slowly said, "Then I would like to experience your skills today. Let's see how the clan behind you does not put my green swamp clan in their eyes." The blood claw hated Xianyang to the core, but it didn't know that Lin Yuan wasn't feeling any better than it at this moment. This was the first time in Lin Yuan's life that he had been schemed against by someone right under his nose. But he still had to swallow it down. After all, Xianyang had opened his mouth to protect his face. He couldn't possibly lower himself and shamelessly apologize to the blood claw, right? It was true that the blood claw came from a powerful clan, but a clan was a clan, and a person was a person. In the Green Swamp clan, the blood claw's position might not even be higher than him, a peripheral beast king, let alone any benefits. If the blood claw only represented him to target Lin Yuan, there was no need for Xianyang or Wan Yu to make a move. Lin Yuan could easily let him know the meaning of regret. Unfortunately, the blood claw was using the identity of an imperial envoy this time, and his attitude was also very good. If the blood claw was really silently killed by Lin Yuan in the Stoneclaw Forest, the Green Swamp clan would not send people to secretly cause trouble next time. Instead, it was very likely that they would directly send existences from the desolate demon realm to kill him. Even if the blood claw had to die, it would have to die in the hands of Xianyang or Wan Yu, even if it was under his orders. When the Green Swamp clan wanted to understand him, they would have to consider whether it was worth it to start a war with the clan behind Lin Yuan for an illegitimate child with no talent and a cold demon beast commander. "Xianyang, since Lord Bloodclaw has spoken, then you should go up and experience it." Lin Yuan slightly coiled up his body, looking as if he was ready to watch a good show. Even Xianyang, who had schemed against Lin Yuan, could not help but be speechless at this moment. After all, he and Wan Yu were partners, and they had their own roles to play. An existence like Wan Yu was meant to engage in close combat with powerful opponents, while he was only responsible for pulling Lin Yuan into the situation, or tying Lin Yuan to their ship that was temporarily hidden in the fog. Now that Lin Yuan had suddenly ordered him to take action, he actually did not react in time. Was this guy really so petty? Not using the powerful Wan Yu, he had to force him to fight the Blood Claw? It was not that Xianyang was afraid of the Blood Claw, but as a demon beast that relied on its head to traverse the Hengduan mountain range, it would probably choose the best strategy. For example, if Wan Yu were to take action at this time, it would easily defeat the Blood Claw. Even if the other demon beasts wanted to revolt, they would not have the guts to do so. "What are you still standing there for? Go!" Lin Yuan rolled his eyes at Xianyang and urged in a hurried tone. "Didn't you not put Commander Xianyang in your eyes just now? Go and see if you really have the strength to do so." Lin Yuan's words were not very successful. At least, at this moment, Xianyang still did not have the means to fight the Blood Claw. However, Lin Yuan's words were obviously not just for Xianyang to hear. Before Xianyang could refute, the furious Blood Claw had already rushed over, its claws and fangs attacking Xianyang's body. He wanted to see what kind of ability this guy who directly called him a slave had. Chapter 137. A lizard and a snake demon instantly engaged in a fierce battle. Within a radius of 100 miles, the flames summoned by Xianyang instantly burned the land into scorched earth. Some of the weaker demon beasts that couldn't be pushed away in time were also turned into ashes in the first round of confrontation between the two. That's right, please do not blindly believe in movies and novels, especially in the world of martial arts. If you ran to the side to watch a battle between big shots of this level, let alone being able to comprehend anything with your level of comprehension, so what if you could comprehend something? For those who were not strong enough, even watching a battle between big shots was an extravagant hope. Even if they were not doing it on purpose, just a casual shockwave from the battle would be enough to make you suffer. Beside Lin Yuan, Curly Moon swung her tail and shattered a huge fireball that was flying towards her. She looked at Lin Yuan with a trace of hidden bitterness in her eyes and said anxiously, "My lord doesn't allow us to move around as we please. Although we usually train with other clansmen, this is our first time fighting outside. It's rare for such an evenly matched opponent to appear, yet you actually let Xianyang go up?" Lin Yuan smiled but did not say anything. He did not respond to Curly Moon's words. After all, he could not tell Curly Moon that Xianyang's words had already dragged him into the water. If he did not give Xianyang an unforgettable punishment, He was afraid that Xianyang would become even more arrogant in the future. It was even possible that he would do something even more excessive. Don't worry. Your opponent is on the way. He'll be here soon. Lin Yuan glanced sideways with his heterochromatic eyes and said mysteriously. A trace of doubt flashed through Curly Moon's eyes, but she still chose to believe in Lin Yuan. After all, he was an existence that my lord had personally chosen. Otherwise, Curly Moon and Xianyang would not have left their own cultivation paradise and specially come to help Lin Yuan get through this calamity. Soon, a green-skinned lizard appeared in Lin Yuan and Wan Yu's line of sight. Lin Yuan pointed at the lizard army and said expressionlessly, "Here, your opponent." Even though Lin Yuan was a beast king, he still had the body of a beast king. However, a part of his body could be said to be gifted. For example, a primate-type monster like the mountain-shaking ape could stand up like a human and use their clumsy hands to use simple tools or weapons. The lizard monsters of the Green Marsh clan were not like the Komodo lizards that Lin Yuan knew. They were creatures that crawled on the ground on all fours. Instead, they were more similar to the lizard men in Western fantasy novels. Although their bodies were much larger than humans, they were humanoid creatures. They all wore warrior armor and held various weapons in their hands. Their aggressive appearance was not inferior to a human army's charge in the slightest. This kind of lizard demon beast would almost never be slaughtered and eaten in the human empire. Instead, their will would be slowly refined by confinement until they completely surrendered. They would be sent to various kinds of extremely dangerous places like mines to work. The food they received every day was only enough to prevent them from starving to death. Even some human nobles with more unique tastes were exceptionally fond of this kind of female beast. The Green Marsh clan had clearly broken away from the low-level lizard men tribes. Although the weapons and armor on their bodies were relatively old, Lin Yuan could vaguely recognize that they were all standard equipment. They should have been replaced by some human army and then purchased by the Green Marsh clan to arm their own people. They had secret transactions with the humans. In a sense, they could be considered evil. Lin Yuan roughly estimated that there were about 34 lizard demonic beasts charging over. All of them were equipped with heavy infantry equipment, and their momentum was not inferior to that of the previous batch of heavy armored warriors in Mountain Blocking City. Due to the physical limit of this world, the heavy infantry equipment worn by Lin Yuan in his previous world might not even be as heavy as the light infantry equipment worn by this world's army. Therefore, the heavy infantry equipment referred to here was the kind that could brave the frail human body and directly withstand the attacks of the demonic beasts. Faced with the assault of such a terrifying force, even the heavy armor warriors of Mountain Blocking City would have no choice but to evade for the time being. They would not dare to charge at the same time as the other party, as doing so would only result in them being knocked to the ground and trampled to death. However, facing such a heavy armored army, not only did Wan Yu's eyes not reveal any fear, but instead, she appeared abnormally excited. Without needing Lin Yuan to say anything, Wan Yu swung her snake body and directly charged towards the lizard monsters. Not to mention Xianyang and Bloodclaw, Wan Yu and the lizard warriors, the surrounding demonic beasts even forgot to breathe. Wasn't today the day to pay a visit to the big boss of the Green Swamp clan? Why were the beast kings of the Stoneclaw Forest directly fighting with the demonic beasts of the Green Swamp clan? Moreover, both sides had an unusual tacit understanding, as if they had rehearsed countless times and predicted that the other party would make a move at this time. Therefore, they had long made arrangements. Now that the battle was chaotic, there was no clear winner. Lin Yuan's 2 bodyguards were pinned down by the people of the Green Swamp clan. The Gate City was not within the territory of the Stoneclaw clan, and the defenses of the Stoneclaw clan were easily broken through by them. If they suddenly made a move at this time, they would directly become the heavy bargaining chip that determined the outcome of the battle. Not counting the demonic beasts from the smaller clans that came to make up the numbers, the leaders of the 3 clans also began to look at Lin Yuan, as if they were considering whether to make a move and directly kill Lin Yuan, the Beast King, and replace him. Black Snake, hand over your life. A young black tortoise was the first to lose control of its killing intent. With a roar, it charged towards Lin Yuan with large strides. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, only indifferently turned his head and glanced at the black tortoise. There was not the slightest ripple in his eyes, as if everything was within his expectations. Seeing Lin Yuan's attitude, the rest of the demonic beasts stopped the restlessness in their hearts. After all, although this black snake's reputation was not very good, No one could deny that it was indeed an outstanding beast king. It was also a rare demonic beast that was more cunning than humans. Even the Green Swamp clan had been schemed to death by it. How could they, the demonic beasts with disloyal hearts, escape from Lin Yuan's scheme? So, a snow-white afterimage streaked across the sky. A deformed frost wolfman with shrunken forepaws stood up, his eyes cold. Sons of the Winter Wolf clan, follow me to protect Sir Beast King. Chapter 138. Wolves were creatures that hunted in packs. In every powerful wolf pack, the strongest was the alpha wolf, but the smartest was a creature called Bay. Due to their congenital deformity, their front claws were particularly short, and they could not even rely on their own strength to walk. They could only crawl on the bodies of other wolves to move. It could also be said that creatures like Bay had almost no ability to live independently. But in the cruel nature, Bay was an existence that was born with a deformed body but was not abandoned by the wolf pack. Naturally, it also had its own uniqueness, such as intelligence. Even the Bay of wild beasts could be regarded as the brain of the entire wolf pack. Before hunting, the smart Bay would arrange the entire hunting plan. Its intelligence was even far beyond that of the fox, which was famous for its cunning. Therefore, in Lin Yuan's view, the Bay of demonic beasts might be a wise man that was not inferior to the three-eyed ape. But just now, when the Bay took the initiative to kill the black tortoise, and clearly stood on Lin Yuan's side, it also perfectly interpreted in front of Lin Yuan what it meant to be too smart for one's own cleverness. The Bay thought that Lin Yuan's indifference was because he had already prepared for it. If it was determined to stand against Lin Yuan, it might not even be able to ensure the reproduction of its tribe, and the entire Winter Wolf clan might be destroyed. Therefore, the most ambitious of the three clans, the Winter Wolf clan, was the first to stand out, and even stood on Lin Yuan's side as a loyal subject. In fact, Lin Yuan was not prepared at all. His indifference was completely because he had no way to deal with the rebellion of the three clans. Panicking could not solve the problem. He could only hope that Wan Yu and Xian Yang would end the battle as soon as possible, and then help him quell the rebellion of the three clans. Therefore, when the Boulder clan took the lead to betray him, although Lin Yuan looked calm, he was actually panicking inside. However, with the Winter Wolf clan as an example, the Hunting Wind clan's foxes, who reacted quickly, also organized a formation at the first moment, and surrounded the black tortoises who took the lead to betray him. If Lin Yuan did not know that the three clans coveted his Beast King throne, he would have thought that the Winter Wolf clan and the Hunting Wind clan were more loyal to him than the Boulder clan. The leader of the Boulder clan was dumbfounded. With its level of intelligence, it could see that the Black Snake falling out with the Green Swamp clan was the best opportunity for them to overthrow the Black Snake's rule. Furthermore, it had even activated its innate divination ability. Although it wasn't auspicious, the divination didn't have anything to do with the word ominous. This meant that as long as they worked together, even if they couldn't kill the Black Snake, it would be an easy task to chase this annoying fellow away. However, it did not expect that after it had just made its first move, its two most solid allies actually gave up on it without any hesitation and turned to Lin Yuan. Coupled with the mountain-shaking apes surrounding them, the leader of the Boulder clan, no matter how simple-minded he was, knew that the scales of victory had completely tilted towards the Black Snake. We surrender. The leader of the Boulder clan resolutely chose to follow his heart when he sensed the ferocious gazes directed at him. As the leader's voice rang out, other than the black tortoise at the front line who couldn't withdraw for the time being, the rest of the black tortoises all lay down as if they were waiting to be slaughtered. Lin Yuan still maintained an indifferent expression as he looked at the situation that had inexplicably tilted towards him. His heart was in turmoil, but he didn't show it on his face. A rebellion that had a 70% chance of success was surrounded by his own people as soon as the first shot was fired. Twisting his snake body, Lin Yuan slowly came before the leader of the Boulder clan and said expressionlessly, "The last war was because the position of Beast King was vacant, so I didn't hold you responsible afterwards. But now, you've started a rebellion again. If I let you go, the Stoneclaw Forest won't have any peaceful days in the future." The black tortoise leader silently lowered its head. If it was proficient in human language, it might have fiercely glared at the two leaders of the Winter Wolf clan and Huntwind clan, then spat on the ground and cursed with a face full of resentment. "Bastards are not worthy of my schemes. But this king has just taken over after all, so it's not good for him to punish you too cruelly. Therefore, this king can spare you from death, but you still have to bear the responsibility." Yes, take away all of the Boulder Clan's territory. 2/3 of it will be given to the Winterwolf clan and Huntwind clan, and the remaining 1/3 will be given to the Intelligence Realm monsters that have just joined the Stoneclaw Forest to manage. As for you, you will be banished to the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Do you have any objections? Lin Yuan's pair of different-colored eyes slightly narrowed as he questioned the Black Tortoise leader condescendingly. In the eyes of the Black Tortoise leader, the previous conditions were actually just Uzzo. After all, there must be a price for the failure of the rebellion. Compared to the fate of the entire clan being annihilated, the conditions of only taking away the territory and banishing them outside the territory were already considered generous, so the Black Tortoise leader did not choose to speak at first. However, after hearing Lin Yuan's final judgment, the Black Tortoise leader trembled all over and looked at Lin Yuan in disbelief with a serious expression. Scarlet Flame Swamp? That place is nothing now. If such a large Black Tortoise clan migrated to the current Scarlet Flame Swamp, many of its clansmen would starve to death in less than 3 days. And this was just the beginning. After all, there were not many monsters left in the Scarlet Flame Swamp, and it was impossible to support the survival of a large Black Tortoise clan. Moreover, there were probably no spiritual items in that place now. Even if there were spiritual items that had not been excavated, they would not be able to form a large scale in a short period of time, and many of its clansmen would starve to death. In less than half a year, the Boulder clan would be reduced from one of the 4 major clans to a small clan that could barely survive. Good heavens! You call this a punishment that is not too cruel? You are going to exterminate my Black Tortoise clan. The leaders of the Winter Wolf clan and the Hunting Wind clan looked at each other in dismay. They seemed to find a trace of sorrow in each other's eyes. Although the 3 major clans were not happy with each other, it was just that the Boulder clan was too strong in the past, so they joined forces. But now, the Boulder clan was no longer a threat, so there was no need for the 3 clans to stick together. However, there was still some affection between them before. Black Serpent deprived all the territory of the Boulder clan and divided it equally among the 3 parties, and also introduced new forces. The era of the Stoneclaw Forest's 4 major clans was probably completely over in the eyes of Black Serpent. Right now, the Boulder clan was forced to a dead end. No one knew if they would be the next Boulder clan. Chapter 139. Lord Beast King. Isn't this decision a bit inappropriate? The leader of the Hunting Wind clan shrunk his neck and asked in a probing manner. What he got in response was Lin Yuan's indifferent eyes. The leader of the Hunting Wind clan shrunk his neck again and didn't dare to plead for mercy for the leader of the Boulder clan. He only resentfully retreated to the side. On the other side, 12 Wisdom State beasts slowly stepped into the clan land of the Broken Stone clan. They glanced at the chaos in the field, then stood beside Lin Yuan very indifferently. The eyes of the 2 leaders of the Hunting Wind and Winter Wolf clans twitched as they witnessed this scene. Their hearts shivered. This black snake was indeed very cunning. He had actually prepared a backup plan. Although these 12 wisdom perception demonic beasts couldn't change the situation of the battle, it wasn't a problem to delay them. Once the 2 followers of the black snake finished the battle, they would be able to sweep away these rotten fish and shrimps with their wisdom perception 5th rank strength. Of course, they didn't know that these wisdom realm monsters weren't called over by Lin Yuan. They had rushed here early because they wanted to see what kind of person the Imperial Envoy was. If they could form a connection with that person, they could even leave the Stoneclaw Forest with the Bloodclaw. They wouldn't need to listen to the Black Snake's face anymore. When the Boulder clan was in chaos, they had been watching from the sidelines. If the Winter Wolf and Hunting Wind hadn't betrayed them at that time, they might have had another reinforcement. However, because they were too smart for their own good, their plan to overthrow Lin Yuan had come to an end just as it had begun. As for the matter of distributing the territory, that was really part of Lin Yuan's plan. The Boulder clan had been driven to the Scarlet Flame Swamp, but they were still under Lin Yuan's rule. Once the hidden dangers there were cleaned up, the Boulder clan of the 4 great clans would become a chess piece that Lin Yuan could easily manipulate. At that time, they would have to obediently bite whoever Lin Yuan wanted them to bite. Today, the Hunting Wind, Winter Wolf, and the native monsters of the Scarlet Flame Swamp had taken over the Boulder clan's territory. Once the Boulder clan recovered from this, the 2 sides would become mortal enemies. As for Lin Yuan? At that time, Lin Yuan, who had a cheat, would definitely become a monster that the Boulder clan couldn't afford to offend. Otherwise, he would have died under his own scheme. At that time, the Boulder clan wouldn't be able to do anything to Lin Yuan, so they could only vent their anger on other enemies. No Beast King would casually restrict the power of their subordinates. In fact, the stronger these clans were, the happier the Beast King would be. However, Lin Yuan was different. He was very clear that it was not a good thing for his subordinates to become stronger and stronger. It had nothing to do with his desire to control everything in his hands. It was purely the scheming of an emperor. He did not want himself to die inexplicably under the schemes of his own people one day. He also did not want his descendants to be directly taken over or even eaten by the demon beasts under his command when they took over the demon beast empire that he built. Just like Three-Eyed Ape, although his eyes were still open due to his old age, the three clans had already stationed their troops outside the Gravel clan's territory. Boom! The sound of a heavy object falling to the ground resounded. The completely charred blood claw fell in front of Lin Yuan. He already looked like he was on the verge of death. As long as Lin Yuan casually added another blow, this commander of the Green Marsh clan who came with ill intentions would die in the Stoneclaw forest. Xianyang only took a deep look at Lin Yuan before twisting his snake body once again. He charged towards the battlefield where Wan Yu and the lizard men were fighting. In an instant, flames once again soared into the sky. Lin Yuan slowly moved to Bloodclaw's side. His leisurely appearance was as if he was taking a stroll. His pair of different-colored eyes stared at Bloodclaw condescendingly as he slowly said, "It seems like Commander Bloodclaw's plan can't be completed. If you can't get my head, even if you can return alive, you won't be able to get your own territory and become a Beast King." "You?" Bloodclaw's eyes widened. For a moment, it was speechless. After all, it never would have thought that Lin Yuan actually knew its thoughts. Even more so, it never would have thought that Lin Yuan had accurately guessed that it would make trouble today and had made preparations in advance to counterattack. Moreover, the two helpers he found were extremely fierce. "Why don't I help you again?" The corner of Lin Yuan's mouth opened, revealing a sinister smile as he sneered. "If I kill you, the Green Marsh clan will have an excuse to deal with me. At that time, they will definitely send out powerful members to hunt me down." "No, no, no. Sir Black Snake, I am willing to leave the Green Marsh clan and pledge my loyalty to you." Bloodclaw endured the pain and frantically shook its head. This degree of injury could drag any human expert to death, but in front of the tyrannical body of a monster beast, recovery was only a matter of time. Dying here like this? How could that be? Moreover, Lin Yuan could casually find 2 Wisdom Realm level 5 monster beasts. Even the Green Marsh clan might not have this kind of strength. Therefore, the clan behind Lin Yuan must be incomparably powerful. If it could rely on Lin Yuan's subordinates, with its peak strength, it might be even easier to become a monster king. Narrowing his eyes slightly, Lin Yuan swept a glance at the half-cleared lizard men and said indifferently, "Pledge loyalty? Sir Bloodclaw, aren't you afraid of harming your loyal subordinates with your words? They're just a bunch of trash. Since they provoked Sir Black Snake, they deserve to die. Sir Black Snake, as long as you accept my loyalty, in the future, if you tell me to go east, I will definitely not go west." Understanding Black Snake's intentions, Bloodclaw immediately smiled apologetically and loudly echoed. Sure enough, after their many years of friendship was trampled by Bloodclaw, those lizard men had completely lost their morale. From being able to barely contain Wan Yu and Xianyang, it directly turned into a one-sided massacre. "Very good. You're very sensible." Lin Yuan grinned, but in the next moment, the snake's head suddenly shot out and fiercely bit Bloodclaw's head, slowly injecting its venom into Bloodclaw's body, completely taking away this Wisdom Realm level 5 monster beast commander. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing Wisdom Realm level 5 monster beast, Green Marsh Lizard. Reward: 25 attribute points. When the system broadcast sounded in his mind, Lin Yuan slowly loosened his bite. Level 2 demonic beasts of the wisdom state can provide him with 2 to 3 attribute points, but level 5 demonic beasts of the wisdom state can provide Lin Yuan with a full 25 attribute points when he is 4 levels higher than him. As expected, as his level increased, the amount of attribute points he could obtain would also increase. However, under the system's mechanism, he had to kill enemies of a higher level to obtain a large amount of attribute points. After all, with Lin Yuan's current interface, with a difference of 1 or 2 levels, those monster beasts simply could not pose a threat to him. Chapter 140. At this moment, Wan Yu and Xian Yang had also cleaned up the lizardmen. After all, the lizardmen's average strength wasn't even at the wisdom realm. It was only because their equipment was too good that Wan Yu found it difficult to deal with them. In a situation where they had lost their morale, their slaughter didn't come as a surprise to Lin Yuan. Na Qin slowly walked to Lin Yuan's side, carrying the stone staff on his shoulder, and doubtfully asked, "Lord Beast King, Blood Claw is an expert sent by the higher-ups to help us clean up the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Let's not talk about whether the higher-ups will have any opinions about killing it, but the most important thing is, how are we going to deal with the Scarlet Flame Swamp?" They definitely couldn't ignore the Scarlet Flame Swamp's deteriorating ecological environment. After all, the Scarlet Flame Swamp would continuously produce inferno demon beasts. These brainless creatures would also continuously attack the surrounding demon beasts' territories. They were like a ticking time bomb that could explode at any time. Without this trash, could it be that I can't solve the Scarlet Flame Swamp's problem? Lin Yuan had a confident expression as he calmly said, "Rather than having any opinions about me, the higher-ups should be happy. The Green Swamp Clan's hands have stretched too far. The next time they send someone over, it definitely won't be a member of the Green Swamp Clan. Otherwise, wouldn't the Beast King, who is in charge of this area, have no face at all? As long as it's not a member of the Green Swamp Clan, I have room for maneuver and can comfortably get through this crisis." Regardless of demon beasts or humans, they all viewed the Scarlet Flame Swamp as a dangerous place. However, in Lin Yuan's view, the Scarlet Flame Swamp's existence was the world's greatest treasure land. A Wisdom Realm Level 2 Inferno Demon Beast could at least give Lin Yuan 12 attribute points and Inferno Core. The Inferno Core could create a one-time use Inferno Demon Beast, which would at least give him 10 attribute points. Using this springboard, Lin Yuan's strength could directly increase by leaps and bounds. As for the Inferno Flames? Once the demonic fire pronate matured, although Lin Yuan couldn't artificially create an Inferno domain, he could extinguish the Inferno Flames in the Scarlet Flame Swamp with just a thought. He could also borrow the Inferno Demon Beast's existence to attack the nearby Demon Beast's territories. When Lin Yuan's strength was enough, he could quickly expand. He had a vague premonition that when his territory reached a certain scale, the territory model would definitely bring him considerable benefits. Of course, he wasn't imagining things. This constant premonition might have come from the Russian system assistant's hint. "Since the matters here are all settled, we'll be leaving." Xian Yang and Wan Yu wriggled their snake bodies in front of Lin Yuan. Lin's and Wan's body. Of the same size as Tu's, with the helps's, lord. But I hope you understand that cooperating with us is a mutually beneficial matter. When we give you more convenience, you should also think about how to repay us. After saying that, Xian Yang hurriedly followed Wan Yu. Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes became even colder. These words were already a blatant threat. After all, the Blood Claw had died in the Stone Claw Forest. If the lord behind them supported Lin Yuan, the Green Marsh clan wouldn't be able to deal with Lin Yuan in a short period of time. In the future, they would have to be more cautious. However, if Lin Yuan didn't admit it, then even if the lord behind them couldn't personally deal with Lin Yuan, they could still lure the Green Marsh clan into Lin Yuan's territory and let them deal with Lin Yuan. Alright, then let me see if it's your lord who's eating me clean, or if I'm treating your lord as a further attribute point. Lin Yuan sneered inwardly. Xian Yang had indeed helped him. Otherwise, this situation wouldn't have been easy to resolve. However, he knew very well that there was no free lunch in this world. Even if he didn't provoke Xian Yang, he would definitely act against him. He could only hope that he could grow a little before Xian Yang attacked him. Even if he couldn't counterattack, he needed to at least have the strength to protect himself.
"Then, we'll take our leave as well, Lord Beast King."
Xian Yang, who looked a little old, walked up to Lin Yuan with the help of 2 frost wolves. The Boulder clan's territory wasn't small. Even a third of it was a considerable amount of profit. If the Frostwolf clan wanted to take over this territory, it would take at least half a year. Lin Yuan nodded. His eyes didn't waver in the slightest. This smart old Xian Yang seemed to have seen through some things. Interesting, but that's all there is to it. Lin Yuan said.
At present, all the troubles had been dealt with. Although there would still be hidden dangers in the future, he had completely stabilized his position as Beast King. Moreover, he could welcome a period of stable development. Sooner or later, he would be able to step on these arrogant fellows and climb to a higher place.
Scarlet Flame Swamp. A huge creature that walked naturally in the flames of purgatory slowly withdrew its indifferent vertical pupils. When it left the flames of purgatory, its blood-red vertical pupils suddenly turned into a faint golden color.
Interesting little fellow, hee. The huge creature slowly opened its mouth and said.
Soon, a black and a red python appeared in front of it.
Xianyang lowered his head slightly and said in a deep voice, "Lord, that black snake has already entered the trap. He knows very well that if he doesn't cooperate with us, the Green Swamp clan will definitely not let him go. Should we?" "No need." The huge creature indifferently replied and expressionlessly said, "Sharpening the axe will not delay the work of cutting wood.
The thing I want is still some time away from ripening. During this time, you will stay in the vicinity. If something unfavorable to that black snake appears, you will help it get rid of it. It is a very important part of the plan, so there must not be any mistakes." Speaking to here, it paused. Its golden vertical pupils fell on Xianyang and emphasized, "Do you understand?"
"Absolutely not."
"Yes, this subordinate understands." Xianyang slightly nodded and lowered his body even more. Although he didn't understand why his lord valued that black snake so much, but these words had completely extinguished any thoughts in his heart. Otherwise, if there was any mistake, his end would definitely be much worse than that black snake's.
Wan Yu flicked her tongue as she stared at the lord in front of her.
"Wan Yu, you did well today. You didn't cause that black snake to reject you. After a period of time, find an opportunity to join that black snake.
After my matter is done, I will bestow upon you even greater power."
After pointing out Xianyang's thoughts, the huge creature's gaze fell on Wan Yu again.
Wan Yu nodded her head with an incomparably obedient appearance.
Chapter 141.
Ding!
Congratulations to host for killing Wisdom Rank 2 Purgatory Demonic Beast, Black-Scaled Bull. Received 3 attribute points. Reward: 10 attribute points. Received 1 Wild Bull Horn X1.
Ding!
Congratulations to host for killing Wisdom Rank 2 Purgatory Demonic Beast, Blazing Mastiff. Received 2 attribute points. Reward: 10 attribute points. As the Purgatory Demonic Beasts fell one by one, Lin Yuan's ears continuously rang with notifications. It had been a full month since Blood Claw's death. The entire Stone Claw forest was in a peaceful state. There were no direct interference from the Beast King's subordinates, and there was no retaliation from the Green Swamp clan. It was as if there was an invisible hand covering everything for Lin Yuan. Occasionally, there would be some chaos, but it was mostly caused by the Purgatory Demonic Beasts that rushed out of the Scarlet Flame Swamp. As the Beast King of the Stoneclaw Forest and greedy for the rich attribute points that the Purgatory Demonic Beasts brought, Lin Yuan naturally stood on the front lines against the Purgatory Demonic Beasts. The Purgatory Demonic Beasts that were formed at this time were because the Purgatory Flames did not fall in a suitable place. After devouring the surrounding phase, they could no longer continue to grow stronger. Thus, they could only transform into Wisdom Rank 1 to 3 Purgatory Demonic Beasts. Lin Yuan did not feel much pressure when dealing with them. After learning from Lin Yuan's experience, his subordinates patrolled the borders of the Stoneclaw Forest in small groups. When they encountered a lone Purgatory Demonic Beast, they did not even need to alert Lin Yuan. Host: Lin Yuan status: Sky-piercing black python, transforming into a flood dragon. Realm: 12/20 talents. 1. Identify the enemy's location based on smell. Cannot be upgraded. 2. Create an accurate image of a 500-meter radius based on smell. 0/100. 3. Monarch of Water. Your ability to control water has reached a certain level. In front of you, most methods of controlling water flow are so shallow and inferior. As long as you have a thought, you can deprive your opponent of their ability to control water flow at any time. Can be upgraded. 4. Formless Ice. Your control of the ice element has reached a certain level. You are no longer the trash that can only freeze water to injure others. Now with your water talent,
You can even freeze water in the air, turning your ice into formless.
Can be upgraded. 5.
Blood sacrifice wish spell. Make a wish with one's own blood or the blood of other living beings, can be replaced by attribute points, as a sacrifice. Whether the wish is fulfilled or not depends on the strength of the wish and the quality of the sacrifice.
Unable to advance. 6.
Dragon Snake Scale Armor. When the scale armor is in good condition, it can provide the host with a 20% increase in defense. Unable to advance. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation 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 Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation can be upgraded. Speed 50 defense, 40 plus 8 attack, 60 demon power, 300 distributable points, 0 martial arts, 1 golden body secrets, 70 out of 100, 2 tyrannical song of the world cannot be upgraded. Skills 1 death coil, 279 of 300, 2 poison of poisoned liquor, 111/300, 3 thorn whip, 0 of 300, 4 blood boil technique, 5 out of 100, 5 all things have spirit, can be used to communicate with living beings, cannot be upgraded. Items damaged feather can be repaired. Petrified eye. The current Lin Yuan was already a true wisdom level 2 demonic beast. After using up all the attribute points in his hands, Lin Yuan's attributes had reached 150 points. After successfully upgrading, his strength had increased once again. This new martial art, Tyrannical Song of the World, was obtained from the Wisdom Level Demonic Beast Gift Pack. It was similar to the Lion's Roar technique from Lin Yuan's previous life. However, compared to those techniques that could easily break other people's veins with a roar, it was much weaker. When Lin Yuan spoke loudly, it would give him a tyrannical effect. If it was in existence with a weak will, it would be very easy for Lin Yuan to intimidate them and become a lackey under the Overlord's command. This skill was similar to the Overlord's aura, but unfortunately, the Tyrannical Song of the World would not give the target an intelligence-lowering aura. Therefore, the stronger the will of an existence, the less they would be affected by Lin Yuan. This skill could only intimidate those small fries. However, these small fries would not dare to disobey Lin Yuan's orders. Perhaps this skill would be useful in the human world. After all, once an existence obtained power, they would no longer put themselves in danger. Over time, the ambition in their hearts would become a joke. Their willpower would also be relatively weak. Therefore, there would often be situations where big figures would be threatened by small figures. However, in the demonic beast forest where the strong preyed on the weak? Under the law of the jungle where the strong preyed on the weak, survival of the fittest was the most basic rule. To be able to stand here and see Lin Yuan facing the demonic beasts, all of them were existences with terrifying willpower. Even if Lin Yuan used this skill, he might not be able to gain any benefits. After all, those who truly had the power of a superior were called overlords. Those who acted pretentiously were called tortoises. Lin Yuan, who had been clearly manipulated by the system countless times, naturally would not say stupid things such as a refund. When the time came, the system would naturally put this ability to use, and Lin Yuan could only cooperate and say that the system was awesome or really fragrant. Of course, Lin Yuan's harvest during this period of time was naturally not limited to these few things. His material storage was piled up with a large amount of material stripped from the Inferno demonic beasts. As long as Lin Yuan was willing, he could create an army of Inferno demonic beasts at any time. It was just that he did not have that many free attribute points. After all, although the creatures he created would not do anything to harm him, they could betray him. Spending a large amount of attribute points to cultivate a profitable subordinate for others was a loss that Lin Yuan was not willing to do. As for the evolved Thorny Whip, Lin Yuan was not too sure whether this skill had been strengthened or directly transformed into another skill. The general attributes were still the same, for example the power of shock, true damage and so on were still there. However, the power of shock had expanded to a radius of 100 meters, and the true damage had increased from 1 to 5. The attack method had changed from the initial stabbing to the current whipping. Moreover, when whipping the target, Lin Yuan's snake tail would also give birth to thorny barbs that had the effect of tearing and causing bleeding. However, this would only happen when the skill was activated. Normally, Lin Yuan would still not change his form. In simple terms, it probably changed from a hammer to a mace. Chapter 142. Name, Moro status, Demonic Fire Prawn Ape, can be added, Realm. 10 tense innate skill, 1. Summon Pseudo-Purgatory Fire 2. Boundless Strength, attack increase by 10% attack. 49 plus 4. 9 defense, 1 speed, 1 allocable points, 0 martial arts, none skills. None. The Demonic Fire Prawn Ape, which was first created, had been forcibly raised to the realm of a level 10 demonic beast by Lin Yuan, and finally got rid of the identity of the bottom of the food chain. Lin Yuan was able to accurately grasp the movements of the purgatory demonic beasts in the Scarlet Flame Swamp without a territorial template, basically relying on the innate ability of the Demonic Fire Prawn Ape. Even the invisible existence of the senior Demonic Fire Prawn Ape scared off a large number of newly born purgatory demon beasts. Those that dared to attack the Stoneclaw Forest were basically wild and untamed beasts. Their numbers were far less terrifying than those that attacked another Beast King's territory. Otherwise, Lin Yuan wouldn't have been able to gather the demon beasts under his command in such a hurry. He might not even have been able to set up a defensive line before being directly taken away by the purgatory demon beasts. Time slowly passed, and everything was proceeding in an orderly manner. However, Lin Yuan instinctively felt that a storm was about to come, as if there was a terrifying existence staring at him from the dark. Lin Yuan speculated for a long time, and it seemed that the only possibility was that mysterious lord. He reckoned that the other party's plan was about to reach its end stage, so as one of the other party's chess pieces, he would feel this kind of oppressive feeling through his beast intuition. This made Lin Yuan even more certain that the other party didn't have any good intentions. After all, the beast intuition could be said to be abnormally mysterious. It was not affected by psychological factors at all, and would only be triggered when it felt malicious intent. In the forest, countless wild beasts and demon beasts relied on this kind of primitive instinct to fight against unknown dangers. Black Snake, long time no see. Suddenly, a muffled voice sounded like a clap of thunder in Lin Yuan's ears. Lin Yuan raised his eyes, and his gaze fell on Curly Moon, who was slowly twisting her snake body out of the bushes. His heart suddenly sank. What was to come could not be avoided. Curly Moon's sudden appearance was most likely to collect a debt. Even if he wasn't here to collect a debt, this guy must be up to no good since he suddenly appeared in front of him. However, they were partners after all, and they even had a honeymoon period before, so Lin Yuan couldn't just attack or chase them away with a cold face. In a sense, his life was in the hands of the other party. Even if he was willing to give up everything he had worked hard for, he might not be able to escape from the hands of the existence of the desolate demon realm. Then he changed the topic and said, "But as you can see, my Stoneclaw Forest is a remote and desolate place. Even if you want to find a suitable spiritual item for me, who is at Wisdom State Level 2, it will be a problem, let alone you, a Wisdom State Level 5 demonic beast. If you want me to pay you with a fey to treat your injuries, then you might as well just take my life. Consider it as me repaying your previous kindness." Wan Yu blinked and didn't reply. This was because Lin Yuan wasn't lying. The Stoneclaw Forest's output might be countless times more abundant than the demonic beast forest, but it was still considered a remote and desolate place. Other than demonic beasts with clans like Mendu, or existences like Lin Yuan who bore the responsibility of a beast king, most demonic beasts would choose to go deeper into the Hengduan mountain range after entering the wisdom realm. This was because they wouldn't be of any help to themselves if they stayed here. Wanting to obtain a fey to treat injuries from here was simply a fantasy. Wan Yu shook her huge snake head and slowly said, "You don't have to worry about this, I have my own preparations. But while I'm recuperating, you have to shoulder the wrath of the Green Swamp clan. Moreover, you have to announce that all my previous actions were ordered by you and take all the responsibility on yourself. Do you understand?" Lin Yuan sighed in his heart. He instinctively wanted to refuse. After all, who knew what Wan Yu had done during this period of time with her warlike personality? If he didn't handle it well, He might have to face more than just the Green Swamp Clan in the future.
Chapter 143. What do you have to worry about? You're just an ant right now.
Whether it's Master's anger or the Green Swamp Clan's revenge, you won't be able to withstand it.
Even if you aren't willing to take responsibility for what I've done, do you think you can stay out of it?
Curly Moon's eyes were wide open as it spoke with an abnormally clear mind. There's a good saying in the human world, when you have too many lice, you won't itch.
Do you understand what this sentence means?
Curly Moon's words directly overturned Lin Yuan's understanding of this fellow. He felt that Curly Moon's previous boorish appearance was completely a disguise to protect him. Perhaps this fellow was smarter than anyone else. I understand.
I'll do as you say.
Lin Yuan sighed, but still agreed to this matter. Curly Moon and Profound Sun had helped it kill Bloodclaw. This matter could be investigated as long as one wanted to. If he said that Curly Moon had nothing to do with him, then he was clearly delusional. Even the stupidest of demonic beasts, Silly Roe Deer, wouldn't believe it. Curly Moon slightly lowered its eyes, seeming to be satisfied, and was about to enter a state of recovery. At this moment, Curly Moon's thoughts suddenly connected to Lin Yuan and said meaningfully, I've caused quite a bit of trouble for you, but believe me, after hearing my words, not only will you not hate me, you will also be very grateful to me. So from now on, no matter how shocked you are in your heart, you must maintain a calm expression on your face. Otherwise, the two of us won't be able to see tomorrow's sunrise. First, although the master behind Profound Sun and I claims to be a dragon bloodline demonic beast, I've seen it cultivating in the purgatory flames many times. This kind of ability is not something a dragon bloodline demonic beast can possess, so I'm 80% sure that the master is definitely a purgatory demonic beast that has lived for who knows how long and has already gained intelligence. Hearing this, Lin Yuan's heart was in turmoil, but his mind was still clear and he still retained a trace of self-control, not letting his shock show on his face. The system said that purgatory demonic beasts couldn't gain intelligence, but this didn't mean that these fellows couldn't mutate. After all, he was in a world where cultivation and possession were very normal. Some things that were originally impossible could happen due to some reason or mutation. So Lin Yuan didn't express any doubts because he hadn't even seen the master. Curly Moon had no reason to lie to him. The second matter, which is the most important thing. Do you remember the mountain range where the purgatory crows fall? Rumor has it that after the purgatory crows die, their corpses will give birth to something called the purgatory heart. As long as a purgatory demonic beast can consume the purgatory heart, it can transform into an existence that can summon the abyss purgatory at any time. That is definitely an existence even more terrifying than the purgatory crows. It's just that the purgatory heart is very difficult to harvest. First, there must be a certain amount of water and ice-type demonic beasts with cultivation to extinguish the purgatory flames around the purgatory heart, allowing ordinary life forms to approach the purgatory heart. Then, a demonic beast with a dragon bloodline in its body must devour it to successfully bring the purgatory heart out. At this time, if a purgatory demonic beast can eat a demonic beast with a dragon bloodline, it would be equivalent to devouring the purgatory heart itself, and there wouldn't be any side effects. It could even refine the dragon bloodline and transform into a true dragon bloodline demonic beast. At this point, Curly Moon clearly paused, as if waiting for Lin Yuan to digest her information. Lin Yuan still maintained a calm expression, but his entire snake body was frozen in place. He thought that the other party was only using him, or wanted to train him as a subordinate. Who would have thought that the other party was simply using him as a snake-shaped harvesting machine, and even planned to eat him as well? I know that there is something wrong with you, but I'm not very clear about the details. I only know that a dragon bloodline demonic beast has a powerful energy of unknown origin. As long as the bloodline is pure enough, it can resist the backlash of the purgatory flames after the purgatory heart is devoured. As for the degree of purity, perhaps only the Lord knows. Although the Hungduan mountain range is not a territory ruled by the Dragon Clan, there are still many demonic beasts with a dragon bloodline in their bodies. After the Lord carefully selected them, he finally set his eyes on you. Coincidentally, you are in trouble, so the Lord directly sent me and Xianyang to help you stabilize the situation. After a series of exchanges, the exhaustion on Curly Moon's body became even stronger, as if she could fall asleep at any time. Lin Yuan inwardly clicked his tongue. Curly Moon's words were half true and half false, but he could not rule out the possibility that she herself did not know the true situation. At the very least, Lin Yuan understood the coincidences that Curly Moon spoke of too much. As the old saying goes, there is no road in this world, but when many people walk on it, it becomes a road. Coincidences were also the same. What kind of coincidence was it that allowed the Rock-Hide Beast King, who was far away in the Green Swamp clan, to immediately know about the death of his illegitimate son? And what kind of coincidence was it that made his superior choose to remain silent, allowing the Blood Claw of the Green Swamp clan to lead a large group of lizard warriors into the territory of the Stoneclaw Forest, ready to kill Lin Yuan, who could be considered a decent beast king at any time? If these incidents were linked together, and there was no shadow of the Lord behind them, Lin Yuan would have directly eaten this big rock beside him. Logically speaking, I don't believe you, and I don't believe the Lord behind you. You and I have no reason at all, and revealing this information to me doesn't seem to have any benefits for you. Forget it. I don't believe that you are the kind of existence that would rather offend your superior than save a strange demon beast for a chance encounter. Lin Yuan slightly narrowed his eyes and slowly said, "From the story I told you, it seems that I really did this to help you, but in reality, helping you is also helping myself. Also, don't look at things from the surface. The enemies I provoked for you are enough to cause you to immediately die the moment you leave the Stoneclaw Forest or the protection of that lord. With that lord's current state, it is not convenient for him to meet people. I don't believe that he will personally come to receive you." Curly Moon had an expression as if everything was within her grasp, and said with an expressionless smile, "You can be considered as a witness of the Scarlet Flame Swamp's current state. I think you should be very clear on what kind of fate those demon beasts who relied on their own strength to challenge the flames of purgatory ended up in. Furthermore, the protective flames around the heart of purgatory are at least 100 times denser than normal flames of purgatory. By the time we create a passable area, we might have already been sucked dry." Chapter 144. Looking at Wan Yu's confident expression, Lin Yuan was speechless. That lord had gathered a large number of dragon bloodline beasts to work for him, and even had to sacrifice the ice and water element dragon bloodline beasts. Under these conditions, Wan Yu was still able to find out so much about the plan. One could only imagine how difficult it was. To carry out such a huge plan, that lord must have many water element beasts under his command. You can't possibly inform every single one of them, right? Moreover, you were the one who told me the entire plan. Even I don't believe you, let alone the other beasts. Don't tell me that I'm the only one you told." Lin Yuan raised his eyelids and replied jokingly, "It's true that I've only told you about this plan. It's not because I trust you, but because you're the most important chess piece in Milord's plan. Without your participation, Milord's plan can't be carried out. This way, all of us monsters will be safe." Wan Yu maintained her dispirited attitude and slowly said, "The strength of the desolate demons has already exceeded our imaginations. Unless you can invite a great general from the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas, you and I will just delay our deaths by a bit. If you are willing to cooperate with me, we can still maintain a moment of peace. If you don't believe me, then please do as you wish. I will just leave first and wait for you in hell. Then you should at least tell me what kind of existences you've provoked, right?" Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and asked. Joy flashed in Wan Yu's eyes and she quickly said, "I can't say the specifics, but I've offended 3 large clans with desolate demon realm experts. There are about 30 mid-sized clans with 10 mountain lords and above. As for the other clans that only have a few mountain lords and river lords to keep up appearances, there are countless of them." When Wan Yu's voice fell, the atmosphere suddenly became quiet. Lin Yuan maintained an indifferent expression on his face. He felt that there was a big danger on top of his head. Moreover, it was the red kind. Including the Green Swamp clan, he now had at least 6 enemies in the desolate demon realm, right? This kind of pressure can indeed force Lin Yuan to stay under the protection of the master for half a step. The problem is, has Wan Yu not considered that the master is very likely to be unable to withstand such pressure, and then directly give up on Lin Yuan and find other dragon blood monsters to be the harvester? "I understand." Lin Yuan nodded with a dark expression. He turned his head to look at Na Qin and the other demonic beasts beside him and said in a deep voice, "You guys take Wan Yu back to rest first. I'll be back after dealing with the purgatory demonic beasts. Na Qin nodded and scratched his blood-stained fur. He cast a sidelong glance at Wan Yu and said, "Follow me." Wan Yu nodded obediently and wriggled her snake body as she followed behind Na Qin. Lin Yuan sighed, rolled up his snake body, and once again attacked the purgatory beasts that had regrouped into a formation in front of him with supreme power. While the undercurrent was surging in the Hengduan Mountains, the humans' crusade against the Black Serpent had never stopped. In a warehouse called Yunlai, demon slayers of all shapes and sizes gathered. Only airborne realm demon slayers were qualified to have a seat in the warehouse, while demon slayers below that could only stand on the street outside. Even so, the street outside was filled with demon slayers who made a living in Mountain Blocking City. The background of this Yunlai warehouse was unknown. It was said to be owned by a high-ranking official in the imperial capital. This warehouse never received ordinary merchants or goods. Only demonic beast flesh, monster cores, and spiritual items were qualified to be traded here. The purchase price was usually about 90% of the market price, but it could guarantee that the goods would be safely delivered to the destination. Therefore, most merchants would choose Yunlai warehouse when trading with demonic beasts. Being a demon slayer was not a noble profession that guaranteed that the demon beasts would not harm ordinary humans. After they traded the demon beast materials to the merchants, it was very likely that they would pretend to be bandits and ambush the merchants on their way out of Mountain Blocking City, making a fortune that did not require any capital. However, for the past 3 days, the entire Yunlai warehouse had been reserved by a demon slayer named Feng Tian, and almost no transactions were accepted. There was no other reason. Feng Tian had taken out 60% of the Lu clan's wealth as a reward. He wanted to form a team to enter the Stoneclaw Forest to hunt down a Wisdom Realm Black Serpent. It was not strange for a family that had been in Mountain Blocking City for nearly 4 generations to accumulate wealth that could rival a country. If not for the Lu clan's influence being so great that they could even challenge the city lord's office to a certain extent, the Lu clan would have been plundered long ago. However, when Feng Tian took out the Lu clan's wealth as a reward, the entire Lu clan remained silent. This made these demon slayers who licked blood on the edge of their blades like sharks that smelled blood and gathered here one after another. Feng Tian, aren't you a member of the Iron Hand Society? Why? Did you come out of your own organization? A level 7 airborne realm demon slayer with a thick machete on his back asked with a chuckle. At the same time, he reached out and touched his belly that looked like a Maitreya Buddha. His name was Lai Shan, a solo demon slayer. He was ranked 7th on the Demon Slayer ranking in Mountain Blocking City. His mountain-crushing machete was unparalleled. It was said that he could single-handedly kill a monster of the same level. It was just that no one knew if this was true or not. The Iron Hand Society's leader and the other members have already died in the previous mission to hunt down the Black Serpent. Now, I'm the only one left in the Iron Hand Society. In addition, a few of the Lu clan's decent juniors have also died in the hands of the Black Serpent. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken out such a huge amount of wealth as a reward for the mission. Feng Tian didn't even turn his head as he replied casually. As soon as he finished speaking, everyone in the warehouse sucked in a breath of cold air. The Iron Hand Society was not a nobody. Although the Iron Hand Society could only be considered as a mid-tier organization in Mountain Blocking City, the strength of the Iron Hand Society alone was enough to make him one of the top 10 demon slayers in Mountain Blocking City. Someone like that actually died in the hands of that Black Serpent? Lai Shan finally stopped laughing, and a serious look appeared in his eyes. Is that Black Serpent really that powerful? The one who spoke was a woman with a voluptuous body and a soft voice. It was just a question, but the charm emanating from it made many men around her feel their blood boil. That woman was called Hua Sanyang, ranked 4th on the Demon Slayer ranking in Mountain Blocking City. It was said that she came from a large sect, and her charm could even capture monsters. The live monsters traded in Mountain Blocking City were most likely her handiwork. It was said that 4 of the top 10 demon slayers on the Demon Slayer ranking were Hua Sanyang's lackeys. She could mobilize them with just a word. That was also a rumor in the underworld. Chapter 145. The Black Serpent is powerful, but it's not as terrifying as you think. The last time the commander failed, It was because he didn't expect the Black Serpent to become the Beast King of the Stone Claw Forest. The Black Serpent is now the leader of the 4 major clans in the Stone Claw Forest. Feng Tian glanced at Hua Sonyang and calmly replied. TSK. A large-scale mission? 60% of the Lu clan's wealth isn't enough. A skinny old man wearing black sunglasses suddenly smacked his lips. His name was a secret. He was ranked number 1 among the demon slayers of Mountain Blocking City, and his nickname was Blind Zither. His weapon of choice was a zither with a broken string, and his musical assassination technique could invisibly cause one's heart to break. Yes, it's not enough. Therefore, this mission has 2 parts. Feng Tian slowly raised 2 fingers. Demon slayers who aren't strong enough can deal with other low-level monsters. When you return, take the heads of the monsters to the Lu clan and exchange them for a reward. The total is 20% of the Lu clan's wealth. The more you kill, the more you earn. Moreover, all the materials from the monsters will belong to you. Many of the demon slayers with low cultivation started to breathe rapidly after hearing his words. A group of demon slayers dealing with a group of monsters would be a piece of cake as long as they were well prepared. If all the demon slayers in Mountain Blocking City worked together, they wouldn't be afraid even if the beast kings in the nearby regions gathered together, let alone the Stoneclaw Forest. The remaining 40% is for the Black Serpent's life. Whoever kills the Black Serpent will get the biggest share. Feng Tian put down his raised palm. His face was full of calmness. The group of demon slayers looked at each other. No one was the first to speak. However, a smile appeared on Feng Tian's face. 40% of the Lu clan's wealth was used to kill a Wisdom Realm monster. No one would refuse such a deal. For the current Lu clan, not only was wealth not a good thing, but it could also lead to a fatal disaster. After all, his ancestor had nominally died in the Stoneclaw jungle. Although this body of his possessed had the hope of advancing, for a short period of time, he was just an ant that had just entered the airborne realm. Unless he could get the complete bloodline of the Black Serpent, there was no telling how much time it would take to cultivate back. 3 days later, Lin Yuan was soaking in the lake under the nest. He watched Batu practice a set of basic fist techniques from the human world. His heterochromatic eyes flashed with a sharp light from time to time. Batu was actually able to cultivate the energy that humans called Zhen Qi, according to the cultivation method of humans. Although the current Batu was still heavily injured as a Class 7 demonic beast, in terms of strength, Batu was definitely not much weaker than a Wisdom demonic beast. At the very least, no demonic beast below Class 3 Wisdom demonic beast would have a 100% chance of taking down Batu. According to Lin Yuan's classification of attributes, Batu, a demonic beast with less than 50 points in all attributes, could fight against an existence with more than 150 points in all attributes. The cultivation methods of humans were so terrifying. Unfortunately, when Lin Yuan tried it himself, he was unable to replicate this model. After humans reached the airborne realm, they would switch to meditating to cultivate qi. In the early stages, they would first devour the flesh and blood of demonic beasts and convert it into energy. Then, through specific body-refining fist techniques, they would temper this energy into their limbs and bones and convert it into Zhen Qi. Lin Yuan did not have fists and feet, and the meridians and bones in the snake's body were completely different from that of humans, so he could not cultivate. Of course, Batu was able to fight against a Wisdom demonic beast because it was a demonic beast. Even if it was heavily injured, its physique was far superior to that of humans. Therefore, it was extremely difficult for humans to replicate an existence like Batu. First of all, they did not kill all demonic beasts, but their attitude towards them would not be good. Secondly, it was not impossible to make a human baby's physique comparable to a demonic beast, but the price to pay was enough to make any first-rate force fearful. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A sharp sound of something breaking through the air rang out. Batu stopped cultivating his fist technique, and Lin Yuan also floated out of the water. A pair of different colored eyes stared at the existence that swept over from afar. When the two sides were 500 meters apart, Lin Yuan was already ready to attack. However, the other party took off the black cloak that covered his body, revealing a handsome face and a pair of mysterious purple eyes. Batu rolled his eyes, panting heavily, and strode to the jungle on the side. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, tilted his head slightly and asked, "Last time we parted on bad terms, I thought you would be sulking for a while. Why are you back so soon?" The purple-eyed youth landed steadily. His chest rose and fell violently a few times, and it took a lot of effort for him to stabilize his breathing. Then he looked up at Lin Yuan, gritted his teeth and said, "What did you do?" Lin Yuan's big snake head was filled with even bigger question marks. He didn't have any special hobbies, and he wasn't interested in a good-looking man. Even if he was, he wouldn't cross species and do anything crazy. However, the purple-eyed youth's expression of being turned green by a scumbag still caused Lin Yuan to be puzzled. Whoosh! Another sound of something breaking through the air rang out. A black card with golden patterns fell in front of Lin Yuan. Without waiting for Lin Yuan to speak, the purple-eyed youth said in a cold voice, "The mountain-blocking city's Demon Slayer Guild has issued a bounty. The Lu family is offering 60% of their family's property as a reward to invite all the demon slayers in mountain-blocking city and the vicinity to rush to the Stoneclaw Forest to kill you, the black snake that almost killed all the descendants of the Lu family."
The Lu family?
Lin Yuan instinctively thought of Feng Tian, who had been punched by the three-eyed ape. However, he didn't expect that this guy had only been quiet for slightly more than a month, and he had already started causing trouble for the second time. Moreover, it was such a huge sum. Although he didn't know how much 60% of the Lu family's property was, in this world, all industries related to demonic beasts had profits that far exceeded the 3 bands of Lin Yuan's previous life. Therefore, just thinking about how huge this sum of wealth was made Lin Yuan break out in cold sweat. How could the demon slayers, who believed in money, reject such a huge sum of wealth?
Demon Slayer Guild. Lu family. Ha! Lin Yuan sneered.
To privately organize such a large-scale operation, was the mountain-blocking city's Demon Slayer Guild planning to start an all-out war with the Hengduan mountain range? If it was before, Lin Yuan might have considered whether he should run away or not. But now, there was no need for the mountain-blocking city's Demon Slayer Guild and the Lu family to continue existing. After all, he was now a snake that had a big shot protecting him.
Chapter 146. Laugh? How can you still laugh?
The purple-eyed youth asked in disbelief. Because of the three-eyed ape, the mountain-blocking city had signed an unequal treaty with the Hengduan mountain range. Unless the Stoneclaw Forest's beast kings voluntarily gave up, the demon slayers of the mountain-blocking city were not allowed to enter the Hengduan mountain range to hunt. This also caused the demon slayers with some ability to leave the mountain-blocking city to develop. With regards to the Black Serpent Crusade, organized by Feng Tian and funded by the Lu family, although the City Lord Mansion of Mountain Blocking City didn't publicly support it, they were all in favor of it in private. Recently, a batch of military equipment had quietly appeared on the black market of Mountain Blocking City. Moreover, only the Demon Slayer Masters who participated in the Black Serpent Crusade could purchase it. Such a large-scale operation had not appeared since the last time the three-eyed ape swept through the Mountain Blocking City. In comparison, the mountain-blocking city Lord Mansion's troops and the Lu family's Iron Hand Regiment's plan to behead the Lu family's leader could only be considered a small matter. Lin Yuan alone would definitely not be able to handle this matter. However, according to his intelligence, Lin Yuan's river-covering python had been crazily hunting down a large number of demon slayers from various clans under Lin Yuan's orders. It could be said that all the beast kings in the region near the Stoneclaw Forest had formed a grudge with Lin Yuan. If the Stoneclaw Forest was at its peak, it would naturally not put the mountain-blocking city in its eyes. However, the Stoneclaw Forest had been hit by the flames of war several times. The number of high-level demon slayers was extremely low, and the next generation had yet to mature. Moreover, the Scarlet Flame Swamp's Purgatory Flame made it so that no demon slayers were willing to pledge allegiance to Lin Yuan. It was currently in a period of shortage. Moreover, the mountain-blocking city was not the only one participating in this operation. After all, with the Imperial Dynasty's channels, at least 30% of the demon slayers from other cities would participate in the battle.
Are you worried about me?
Lin Yuan glanced at the purple-eyed youth with a strange expression. He felt an inexplicable panic in his heart.
F***CK. It can't be, right?
This guy, don't tell me that he has strange thoughts about a snake like me?
Heh, I'm worried about you?
The purple-eyed youth was so angry that he laughed and said angrily, "The reason why Zhanshan City is unhappy with you is because of the previous agreement. The demon slayer masters who make a living in Zhanshan City are not allowed to enter the Hengduan mountain range to hunt. However, among the many beast kings in the periphery of the Hengduan mountain range, you, Black Snake, have the best reputation. In order to prevent the number of demon beasts under their rule from overflowing, the other beast kings would even organize demonic beast tides to attack human cities on a regular basis. They would hunt down immature humans and plunder the spiritual items in the cities. You are the only beast king who would go against other demon beasts and reduce the number of demon beasts under your rule. Lin Yuan pursed his lips. The reproduction rate of demonic beasts was simply terrifying. In order to reduce the number of demonic beasts under their command, there were indeed some beast kings who acted without any scruples. Fortunately, the purple-eyed youth was only worried that after Lin Yuan's fall, the new Stoneclaw Forest Beast King would become a ticking time bomb for the humans. From time to time, a wave of demon beasts would come to Zhanshan City, and not have strange thoughts about Lin Yuan. Only then did Lin Yuan feel relieved. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and asked, "Since you are here, it means that you have chosen a side. First, tell me what kind of help you can bring me." The purple-eyed youth was choked by Lin Yuan's indifferent question. This guy really has no intention of running away and wants to fight to the death with the humans who invaded the Stoneclaw Forest? What kind of confidence did this black snake have? After pondering for a moment, the purple-eyed youth slowly said, "Through my family's connections, I have contacted a group of Beast King-level demon beasts to act as your backing. They can send their demon beasts into your territory at any time and pretend to be your subordinates to fight against the Demon Slayer army." "Stop. Make them scram. The further they scram, the better." Lin Yuan's eyes widened as he directly interrupted the purple-eyed youth's suggestion. Because of Wan Yu, he had recently offended many beast kings. It was hard to say whether those demon beasts that entered his territory would target the humans or him. With such a large group of demon beasts entering the Stoneclaw Forest, how could he rest? "Then what do you want? Do you want me to personally lead my men to pretend to be demon beasts and fight for you?" The purple-eyed young man asked angrily in return. Facing an opponent that he could not resist, he actually rejected reinforcements immediately. Did this black snake not bring his brain with him? "I think it's fine, but forget about pretending to be demon beasts. You can just send a group of unfamiliar subordinates to participate in the battle. After that, there will naturally be someone to take the blame for you." Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes lit up. Someone to take the blame? The purple-eyed youth's initial anger dissipated as his brain spun rapidly. Suddenly, he thought of a dark organization that had recently risen near Mountain Blocking City, the Association of the Demon Emperor. This dark organization had been spreading the news that the ancient demon emperor had reincarnated and was going to rebuild the demon divine court. If one could join the Association of the Demon Emperor, they would have a place in the demon divine court in the future. This ridiculous statement had actually attracted many idle scoundrels to join. There were even quite a number of talented cultivators who wanted to see if they could fight for a future in the so-called Demon Divine Court. Mountain Blocking City and a few nearby cities had repeatedly encircled and suppressed the Association of the Demon Emperor, but they had still failed to eliminate this Association of the Demon Emperor. They had even helped them to clean up a large group of useless people. The remaining members of the Association of the Demon Emperor were almost all elites. They even gradually gained the upper hand in the war against the dynasty's army. The Association of the Demon Emperor. Don't tell me you're the one who created it? The purple-eyed youth stammered as he asked. He suddenly felt that this black snake really deserved to die. Not only had he and the forces behind him infiltrated the Hengduan mountain range, but the black snake had also begun to infiltrate the human race. He had even created a sizable association of the Demon Emperor. If such a demon beast was not killed in the cradle as soon as possible, it would definitely become a major threat to the human race in the future. It's mutually beneficial. Lin Yuan smiled mysteriously as he squinted his eyes and said, "You have a very powerful force behind you, but you're just a pawn in their eyes. If you're not careful, you'll be smashed to pieces. If I, a demon beast, say that I can help you in your official career, then I'm just bragging. Think about it carefully. What if the Demon Emperor secretly supports you? Even your colleagues and superiors in the future might be members of the Association of the Demon Emperor?" Lin Yuan's voice was deep and magnetic, like a devil tempting the world to fall. The purple-eyed youth swallowed a mouthful of saliva with difficulty. His eyes that were looking at Lin Yuan slowly lit up. From the perspective of the human heart, no one was truly selfless. He came into contact with Lin Yuan for the sake of his future. However, his family was only so big, and he was not the only outstanding junior. Even if the resources were given to him, he could not monopolize all of them. However, the association of the Demon Emperor was gradually growing. What if he could occupy a place in it, or even control the association of the Demon Emperor? His future achievements, limitless.
Chapter 147. Lin Yuan naturally took note of the purple-eyed youth's tempted expression. At this point, the purple-eyed young man's inner thoughts were self-evident. However, the power in his hands did not belong to him, so it would not be easy to gather them to participate in the Black Serpent Crusade this time. After pondering for a moment, the purple-eyed youth slowly said, "I don't have many people to mobilize. Apart from you, there are other beast kings that I need them to contact. Therefore, I can participate in this war, but my men and I will definitely not appear on the battlefield. At most, we will provide support from the rear." "All right." Lin Yuan nodded his head and said indifferently, "I'll get someone to place the Demon Emperor Association's uniforms in a tavern in Mountain Blocking City. You can arrange for your men to retrieve them." If the Demon Slayer Guild wanted to wage a full-scale war with the Stoneclaw Forest, they would have to go through many procedures. The most important thing was that the Demon Slayer Guild would leave Mountain Blocking City in one batch. They would also have to purchase various equipment and resources in the same batch. After all, no matter how supportive Mountain Blocking City was of this matter, they would not allow these Demon Slayer Guild to change their battle equipment in the city. If the Demon Slayer Guild had ulterior motives and seized the opportunity to seize control of Mountain Blocking City, even the Crown Prince would not be able to bear the responsibility. The purple-eyed youth was about to take over the position of the City Lord of Mountain Blocking City. The forces under his command had probably already infiltrated into all walks of life in Mountain Blocking City. With such a powerful ally by the side of the Demon Slayer Guild, Lin Yuan felt that the pressure on him would be reduced by at least 40%. As for the Demon Emperor Association being able to develop to its current scale, it could be said that they had unintentionally planted a willow tree and reaped the benefits. Back then, Lin Yuan had used the words of the ancient Demon Emperor to fool Su Nan. Who would have thought that this guy would actually gather a large group of human cultivators with Mountain Blocking City as the center? Although it could not be compared to sects or factions, it was still a force that was superior to aristocratic families like the Liu clan who had always been content with their own territory. As for Lin Yuan's reward, it was even simpler. The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's treasure trove wasn't worth mentioning to Lin Yuan. Furthermore, he didn't have any seedlings that were suitable for consuming fire-type phase. He simply packed them up and threw them all to Su Nan. On the other hand, the humans' demand for phase was much more terrifying than Lin Yuan had imagined. Even if the phase that weren't useful were in the hands of humans, they would quickly be used as trading chips to exchange for other resources or help in certain aspects. Almost no phase would be stored. During this period of time, Lin Yuan had been constantly delivering phase to Su Nan, and Su Nan was rapidly strengthening himself. Lin Yuan didn't expect that the remaining 60% of the useless items in the Red Flaming Crocodile King's inventory would be turned into treasures in Su Nan's hands. Su Nan had created the Demon the Arch Association with average strength but terrifying growth potential. "All right, I'll take my leave first." The purple-eyed youth bowed slightly and spoke with a slightly respectful tone. After leaving Lin Yuan's lair, the purple-eyed youth's footsteps paused slightly. The slightly cold forest wind brushed against his face and extinguished the enthusiasm in his mind. At this moment, the purple-eyed youth finally calmed down from his inexplicably excited state. The smile on his face dissipated and was replaced by a touch of fear. Recalling what had happened previously, the purple-eyed youth's entire body trembled. When he first met the Black Snake, he had the absolute upper hand. After all, the difference in status and strength between the two of them was too great. Therefore, it was almost always him talking while the Black Snake listened, and then the cooperation was finalized. However, as time passed, when he stood in front of the Black Snake again, the Black Snake had firmly grasped the initiative. This Black Snake was no worse than those rich and powerful people who had been rolling in the Vanity Fair for decades. They were all masters at playing with people's hearts. A small movement during a conversation, a change in the expression of their eyes, or even a pause in their sentence could evoke all kinds of emotions in the depths of the communicator's heart. He had warned himself countless times that if this Black Snake was not eliminated as soon as possible, it would sooner or later become a scourge to the human world. However, just like the previous few times,
After reminding himself in his heart a few times, he forgot about it. The benefits that the black snake gave him were too tempting. He had no reason to reject it at all. In the darkness, the hibernating Lin Yuan turned over, yawned lazily, and slowly closed his eyes. Everything was ready, except for the east wind. Tonight was destined to be a very long night. He already knew the general effect of the World Tyrant song. In the previous conversation with the purple-eyed youth, his momentum had been strengthening bit by bit until he completely took the initiative of the entire topic. If he did not have this skill, the other party's head would have been kicked by a donkey. Otherwise, they would have agreed to mobilize a group of people to participate in the battle under the name of the Demon Emperor Association. 4 hours later. Carriages filled with supplies and equipment were slowly being sent from mountain-blocking city to the periphery of the demonic beast forest. The first batch of vanguard troops had already set off. Furthermore, according to the plan, they were clearing all the demonic beasts and vegetation that were blocking their path. They were striving to directly plow a path through the Sun Pass before the army set off. Su Nan, who was wearing a gray gown and a mink fur hat on his head, yawned as he sat in a tea house outside the city gate, sipping his tea. His pair of bright eyes would occasionally fall on the carriages that were transporting all kinds of supplies outside. "Boss, are we really going to attack them?" A little fatty wearing a green gown blinked his eyes and asked somewhat helplessly. Although the Demon Emperor Association had developed very well in the vicinity of mountain-blocking city, to the point that even the army could not do anything to them, that was because the Association of the Demon Emperor was an underground organization. The other party did not even know the identities of their members. However, if they were to turn to the battlefield, the current Demon Emperor Association might not even be able to withstand a single charge from the cavalry. Su Nan cast a sidelong glance at the little fatty and said expressionlessly, "What else can we do? You have been receiving benefits from others every day. Now that they want you to do something, can you not do it? Where are you going to get the spiritual items for your cultivation in the future? If that black snake can survive this time, do you believe that you will be dead the next time you enter the demonic beast forest?" At this point, Su Nan paused for a moment. His eyes flickered for a moment before he chuckled and said, "Furthermore, I did not say that we have to fight them head-on. Once the vanguard and the main army have a certain distance, we will just plunder a few batches of supplies and run. No one will be able to find fault with us. We can even make a fortune." Chapter 148. That's not good, right? It's hard to explain to the big boss. The little fatty swallowed a mouthful of saliva and asked cautiously. In the association of the Demon Emperor that Su Nan managed, he was not the true leader. Instead, he was a big boss that did not even exist, and he was just a liaison who ran errands for the big boss. Normally, he did not have much authority in the association of the Demon Emperor. Only on rare occasions would Su Nan issue some orders in the name of the big boss. To put it bluntly, almost all the members of the Association of the Demon Emperor were willing to be human traders and work for the demon beasts. If you were to expect such a group of people to talk about righteousness, loyalty, and etiquette, it would be a fool's dream. Therefore, Su Nan's actions allowed him to evade countless investigations and assassinations. As for the Black Snake, it was in existence on the same level as the big boss in the Association of the Demon Emperor. This beast king who controlled the Stoneclaw Forest and Scarlet Flame Swamp would occasionally send some spiritual items to the Association of the Demon Emperor. It was considered one of the biggest shareholders of the Association of the Demon Emperor. "Don't worry, we're just showing our faces. Others will take care of the rest." Su Nan replied casually and said leisurely, "I almost forgot. Go back and pick a few familiar brothers to rob the supplies. Remember to hold back. It's best to leave a few alive so that others will know that this is the work of the Demon Emperor Association." There was no free lunch in the world. If one did not want to contribute much in this battle, one would still want to get enough benefits. Su Nan could only choose to obediently take the blame and abandon some pawns appropriately. Just as Su Nan was strategizing in the small tea house, he did not notice that a pair of mysterious purple pupils in the dock slowly fell on him. "Are you sure it's him?" The purple-eyed youth stared at Su Nan without blinking and gently put the document in his hand on the table. "Yes, his name is Su Nan. In his early days, he was a wandering martial artist. Later on, he was recruited by the Liu clan as a hanger-on. After the appearance of the Black Snake, He was sent by the Lu clan into the demonic beast forest to capture the black snake. All the cultivators along with him died in the demonic beast forest. Only he managed to sneak back to Mountain Blocking City. Previously, Su Nan's life was relatively tight. He was basically living off his savings. Occasionally, he would take on some simple demon hunting missions and enter the demonic beast forest to earn some extra money. However, the frequency of the missions was not high. It was barely enough for him to maintain his previous down-and-out life. Until a month ago, Su Nan inexplicably became rich. It was as if he had an inexhaustible supply of spiritual items in his hands. However, during our investigation we noticed one thing. After this Su Nan became rich, the places of entertainment he frequented changed. Other than a small rundown tavern called Aslanti, this guy would go to Aslanti every day and stay there for at least 2 hours. The subordinate sitting opposite the purple-eyed youth introduced the investigation information in an orderly manner. At the same time, he arranged the documents into files in front of the purple-eyed youth. Those who had close contact with Su Nan, the information on the staff and frequent customers of Aslanti, the list of cultivators who had received Su Nan's aid. Young master, we have prepared everything you asked for. We are almost certain that this Su Nan is one of the important figures in the Demon Emperor Association. Should we arrest him immediately? Knock, knock, knock. The purple-eyed youth reached out his hand and gently knocked on the table. His expression did not change at all. His gaze was still fixed on Su Nan. After thinking for a moment, he said with a smile, "No, only by casting a long line can we catch a real big fish. As far as I know, the person at the top of the Demon Emperor Association is a person with the code name, Big Boss. You have to find a way to find this guy for me first. In addition, identify the identity of the members of the Demon Emperor Association. If it is not necessary, do not arrest them for the time being. With them as the central point, dig out the name list of the entire Demon Emperor Association." "Yes." This subordinate understands. Hearing this, the subordinate nodded heavily. The purple-eyed youth smiled with satisfaction and stopped his finger tapping on the table. Only then did Su Nan seem to realize that someone was secretly watching him. He turned his head and looked at the purple-eyed youth from a distance of dozens of meters. The purple-eyed youth revealed a bright smile. Su Nan also returned a bright smile. Then, the purple-eyed youth retracted his gaze and looked at the tea and snacks on the table again. He began to savor the food in front of him. The moment Su Nan lowered his head, the smile on his face froze. The iconic pair of purple pupils were there, and they were reminding him of their existence in such a way. This guy was indeed as difficult to deal with as Black Snake said. "Fatty, in a while, go to the outhouse and use the third set of code words. Leave a note in the backyard of the tea house. Later, I will find a brother to pick it up. You can write whatever you want, but you have to attract the other party's attention." Su Nan slightly lowered his eyelids and slowly said, "We are being watched. Think of a way to find out their background." The fatty expressionlessly stood up from his seat and strode to the backyard of the tea house. At the same time, the purple-eyed youth subordinate also stood up from his seat and followed the fatty to the backyard of the tea house. It seemed that he had no intention of disguising himself. He just wanted to keep an eye on them. "If you want to play games, I will play with you. Let's see who dies first." Hee. The purple-eyed youth and Su Nan looked at each other again and whispered to each other in a voice that the other party could not hear. Now that both parties were grasshoppers on the same rope, it was obviously unrealistic to fight to the death here. However, Su Nan was also a ruthless person. The Demon Emperor's Association that he had painstakingly established had not even been warmed up yet. It had not even had a good time for 2 days, yet it was already being watched by others. Although the purple-eyed youth was very interested in controlling the Demon Emperor's Association, it was clear that compared to unrealistic complete control, he hoped that after he became the city lord, this faction that had mixed with the demonic beasts would be under his control. At that time, as long as he was willing, he would be able to deal a devastating blow to this organization at any time. Of course, it would be best if both parties could cooperate. The purple-eyed youth subordinate followed behind the fatty. He did not even deliberately lighten his footsteps. The fatty, who was walking in front, lowered his right hand and a shiny black dagger suddenly slid into his hand. Immediately after, the fatty's footsteps paused and exploded with an agility that did not match his body size. He turned around and slashed at the neck of the tracker. His attack was unusually ruthless, and he did not even care that there were ordinary people around. Chapter 149. Clang! The fatty's black dagger was accurately blocked by a hidden sword. The fatty raised his eyebrows slightly and made a sound of surprise, but his reaction wasn't slow at all, and he changed his move again. In the blink of an eye, the figures of the fat man and the stalker were almost pulled apart into two blurry afterimages. With 5 steps as the boundary, they continued to assassinate each other. The strangest thing was that the two people's movements were extremely fast, but their feet never changed their positions. It was as if two roly-poly toys were bumping into each other. Clang! The black dagger and the hidden sword collided once again, bringing up a burst of sparks. Sword dancer. Shadow walker. The fatty and the stalker let out a contemptuous sound from their mouths at the same time. Clap, clap, clap. As one of the spectators, the purple-eyed youth gently clapped his hands, stood up from his seat, and said with a smile, "Both of you are top-notch assassins. I think there's no need for this kind of test, right?" The fight between the fatty and the stalker lasted for a full 5 minutes. Don't underestimate this 5 minutes. Humans weren't monsters, they didn't have such a tyrannical physique, and the true chi in their bodies was very limited. If it was a kind of spar, it might be possible to fight for 3 days and 3 nights without panting. However, between the two top-notch assassins just now, every move was full of explosive power. This kind of power exertion was equivalent to exploding with 120 to 140% of the strength in an instant. Often, within 2 or 3 moves, it would exhaust all of a person's strength. The two top-notch assassins fought for a full 5 minutes, not because they were strong, but because they had no choice. Even if they risked internal injuries, they had to fight head-on with each other. Otherwise, if their movements were a little slower, the opponent's weapon might sweep across their neck. A group of trash that can't be seen in the light, how can they be called top-notch assassins? The fatty curled his lips contemptuously and let out a disdainful snort. The sword dancer and shadow walker came from the same origin, but the two went to different extremes with the passage of time. Both sides thought that they were the orthodox, so they couldn't stand the other side. Generally, when they met, it would be a life-and-death battle. Therefore, the sword dancer was in the south of the dynasty, and the shadow walker was in the north. The two sides maintained restraint, and neither side would easily step into the other's territory. It's still not certain who's trash. The tracker curled his lips in disdain and sneered, "I'm evenly matched with you in an open fight. If I really wanted to kill you, do you think 3 strikes would be enough?" The purple-eyed young man took 2 steps forward and stopped his subordinate who was about to continue attacking. Then his gaze once again fell on Su Nan as he said with a smile, "I don't like to do things without warning. Then, the game between us can be considered to have begun from this point onwards. I hope you won't disappoint me. At the very least, you should let me warm up, right?" As soon as he finished speaking, the purple-eyed youth raised his hand and tossed out a heavy bag of money. It glided in a precise parabola and landed on the counter. The shopkeeper of the tea house picked up the purse and weighed it in his hand. His eyes immediately curved into a pair of crescent moons. Even the cheapest copper coin in this bag was equivalent to the turnover of his tea house in 3 days. If it was converted into silver coins, it could even buy his entire tea house. "Boss, that guy is a bit troublesome." After the purple-eyed youth left, the disdain on the fatty's face gradually disappeared. He slowly raised his right hand that was holding the dagger. The entire dagger was covered with densely packed cuts as if it could break at any time. The fatty's right hand that was holding the dagger was constantly trembling. There was even a faint black color that could be seen. "Yes, it's a bit troublesome," Su Nan replied somewhat absent-mindedly. Taking a deep breath, Su Nan glanced at the right corner of the tea house. He saw an old man with a goatee gently shaking his head. Only then did he sigh and reach out to pat the fatty on the shoulder and said, "Let's go. Our identities have been exposed. While the other party doesn't dare to follow us too closely, let's go to the stronghold outside the city and hide for a few days." According to the old rules, Su Nan left the money for the tea on the table and led the fatty to the backyard of the tea house. Obviously, he didn't plan to leave with the purple-eyed youth. At the same time, after walking out of the tea house, the purple-eyed youth walked side by side with the stalker. The purple-eyed youth said expressionlessly, "Is your hand okay?" "I need to rest for a few days. It's not too big of a problem." The stalker shook his head and retracted his right hand into his sleeve. Drops of dark red blood dripped down. He said in a deep voice, "Fortunately, young master stopped me in time. Otherwise, even if I could survive a few more moves, my hand would be crippled. I really didn't expect that fatty to be so powerful." Ha! The purple-eyed youth sneered and said with disdain, "Do you think that fatty is any better than you? If I didn't stop you, you would all die together in 3 moves. That guy saw it too. However, he didn't seem to care about his men's lives at all. From the beginning to the end, he didn't have the intention to stop. That guy wanted to play a match with me from the beginning. This kind of chess player is either too confident or has too many trump cards." The stalker was silent for a moment. When he slowly raised his head, his eyes were full of coldness. After a while, the stalker said, "If that's the case, then it's not good news. Since Su Nan dared to exchange the sword dancer's life for mine, it means that he has other cards in his hand that he hasn't revealed yet. This is not good news for us." "Yes, that's why I asked you to keep an eye on them. Once we have enough evidence, we can inform the City Lord's Mansion or the Demon Subduing Guild to attack them. It's indeed very difficult to fight against the Demon Emperor Association with just the men I brought. Let's observe the situation first. Even if they move their stronghold, we can still get a list of names, right? In any case, after I take over as the City Lord of Zhanshan City, I don't want such a force to exist in my jurisdiction. Otherwise, when the beast tide comes at night, my Zhanshan City might not even be able to close the city gates." The purple-eyed youth stroked his chin and said with narrowed eyes, "However, they have the sword dancer. If you continue to keep an eye on them, you might get into trouble. For the time being, keep a safe distance. Wait for me to deal with the matter at hand before I slowly deal with them." The first battle between Su Nan and the purple-eyed youth ended with both sides suffering heavy losses. However, in a sense, the purple-eyed youth had the upper hand. After all, many of the Demon Emperor Association's members were already online with the purple-eyed youth. As long as he wanted to, he could deal a great blow to the Demon Emperor Association's forces in Zhanshan City. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.